6 o'clock exactly at the MJ Morning Show. MJ, Faster, Roxanne, Andrew in the booth, in the producer booth here on a Tuesday. I was just watching Julian's film project. He had to direct a scene from a movie. They did a reenactment recreation. This is for his summer class. This is immersive. It's like 8 hours a day for, I think it was a month or so, at the new Martin Scorsese Center for NYU Film, which is actually in Brooklyn. So Julian leaves his dorm in Manhattan, takes the train to Brooklyn every day. And I was just watching a scene that they filmed from Inglourious Basterds, the Quentin Tarantino movie, which is just an unbelievable, phenomenal movie.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm just watching this scene. I'm like, that looks pretty damn good. So I'm kind of pumped. As we start the show today, I just watched my kid.
Proud dad.
Direct this like a 5-minute scene for his final project. And that wraps up later this week. I think Thursday is his last day. And they're doing like final cuts, final edits on this little blurb. Oh, Fester, you look thrilled over here. You're making a smirk like, why don't you quit talking about your kid?
No, this morning my son woke up at 4 o'clock this morning.
And flipped on the cartoon channel?
He flipped a bowl of Lucky Charms right on the carpet.
Oh, wow. Zero res. Hey,
yep, zero res. First thing I said.
There you go.
Time for zero res. With zero res carpet cleaning, right now, you buy 2 rooms, so you get 2 rooms cleaned. They let you get 2 rooms for free.
Oh.
Yeah, so you buy 2 rooms of carpet cleaning. They give you 2 rooms of carpet cleaning free with ZeroResTampaBay.com. Look at that. Look how I worked in that fine sponsor. I wove that in like a fine tapestry,
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you take Julian's project and share it with the rest of us?
Yeah, I might even...
can you do it after Thursday? Or?
Well, what I'll do is I'll try to put it up on one of my social media, maybe on my Instagram, or maybe we'll put it up on the website, or I'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, but I don't want to have to sit next to you watching it on your phone because that's just creepy.
Yeah.
Why is it creepy watching it with me next to my...
I mean, 2 men really close together like that who aren't in a
Heads together, leaning in.
We're not in a committed relationship in that capacity, which, that's fine, but just our relationship would just be weird.
So, Roxanne, you did not take day 2 off of your kid's second day at school.
No, but while everybody's bragging about their kids, let's see, Daviana yesterday told me that her teacher hugged her and she tooted. And I said, we don't talk like that.
Whoa.
And then she said she was just kidding.
Wait, what?
Who tooted, the teacher or the kid?
The kid. It was a joke. It was a joke. I said, how was school today? She said, my teacher hugged me and I tooted. And I said, what? Are you kidding? So she's a little
wait a second.
comedian.
Is this true or is this false?
It's false, but she thinks she's being funny. She thinks it's hilarious.
Well, it is pretty funny.
It is.
Roxanne, your
It is
kids,
really.
my kids are one step ahead of where your kids are. Toot jokes will become a major source of household conversation.
It's a staple in our house.
It's going to evolve.
Which daughter was this?
Daviana.
So this is your
4-year-old.
That's your younger one.
Yes.
Oh, Daviana, it's so great to have you in class. Let me give you a hug. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, all right, take 2. Let's try a different sound. Oh, Daviana, hope you had a great summer. It's so great to have you in pre-K or whatever the hell she's in.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That doesn't sound like a 4-year-old too, does
I
it?
think it could. It could.
Oh, my God. Oh, my holy. So she's just joking around.
Yeah, she's just joking around. They love to have fun with that kind of stuff.
Oh, Daviana, I hope you had a wonderful summer. Are you ready to learn? Come on, bring it in. Let me give you a hug.
That's one tight hug. That hug goes on and on.
It's like Big Red. That little hug goes on and on. And Oh,
Toot a little longer.
Daviana, you ready for a great year of learning here at Little Speckles Pre-K?
Who names their
I don't.
That's the name of the academy.
Speckles?
Little Speckles
Come
Academy.
here, come on. Let me give you a hug because we're going to have a great year. Come here, little Daviana. Can you identify what this is from, Roxanne?
Is it Wedding Crashers or is it Dumb and Dumber?
No,
What is it?
no.
No, you got to go earlier than that.
Oh, okay.
That's Blazing Saddles.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that.
Yeah.
You never saw it?
No.
Sit down with the kids.
Hold
and watch
on a
it.
minute. You never saw Blazing Saddles?
No, it just doesn't even sound like the kind of Blazing Saddles. Is it a Western?
It's a comedy. It is, actually.
Oh, it's a Western, all
And
right.
I'm not a Western fan.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the Western genre, but Blazing Saddles is a comedy masterpiece.
Never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
The kids will love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you stream that tonight? Little movie time, little Tuesday night movie night. That's what you
Perfect.
ought to do. And, serve the kids the little, 89-cent Kraft macaroni and cheese out of the box. And then after dinner, you put on Blazing Saddles.
Roxanne, do me a favor.
Uh-huh.
Can you give MJ a harumph?
Harump, harump.
There you go. All
No,
right.
hey,
Give the governor a harumph.
very nice. Very nice. All right, 6:07 of the MJ Morning Show. We're just getting rolling here on Tuesday morning. Man, I had a little bit of an incident yesterday. I'm trying to sign on to my Gmail. Do you know that Gmail had like some kind of a technical glitch yesterday? We'll get into that later on. Yeah, I've got the two-factor... what are they called?
Authentication.
Yeah, is it two-factor authentication? Is that what the actual name of it? So, it has to send a little note to your device, and then you authorize the sign-in, and that was all busted up yesterday. So Google Gmail, it was like 2 o'clock yesterday, and I need to get into my account. I need to deal with some stuff in my email box, and I'm like, what the hell happened here? I'm like locked out. I was like, oh my God, have I been hacked? My passwords on my Gmail are absolutely freaking ridiculous. I mean, they're like 30 characters. I mean, it's capitals, lowercase, symbols. I mean, I have ridiculous passwords for my important stuff. And then I find out late last night that it was Google, that they had some kind of a glitch. So we'll deal with that later on. Hey, we got a lot of stuff. We have a 4-hour show, and I've got about 12 and a half hours of material. So that just means high-quality density. Yeah, coming up here on the MJ Morning Show. All right, 6:08. It's getting rolling. Pat's got traffic. Back in minutes. Jay and the crew here, 6:20, and we got a whole bunch of first day of school stuff that we'll get through later on during the program. Of course, yesterday, first day of school for most. Roxanne was not here yesterday because she played mom, whereas typically during the school day and the typical school year, it's Dig Dug, Roxanne's husband, Mr. Mom, who's kind of, the stay-at-home dad. But he's
not really a stay-at-home dad. He just does the morning shift.
So he's the morning shift.
Yeah,
so
and,
he's not a total Mr. Mom, but he handles the kids in the morning because you're here handling us in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, though. Yesterday, for example, as we were dropping her off at school, you look around, and a lot of it was both parents. I think it's such a big day for kids, and it gives them comfort. So I was happy to be able to be one of those parents yesterday. But even when I do stay home occasionally and take her to school, dads do it too. Like in this world of moms have jobs, the dads do a lot.
Well, that brings me to my next point.
Cool.
Don't do crack. No. Brings me to my next point in that how many nannies do you see or, babysitters bringing the kids, and there's no mom, there's no dad, there's like hired help dropping the kids off. You ever see that? You
see some of that. You see that at pickup too, because they get out, middle of the day. Yep. Parents are still working.
All right, Fester, come on. $2.5 million motorhome.
I saw it over the weekend, and it's a pretty luxurious ride.
But still, come on. Who would dump $2.5 million into essentially a tool shed on wheels? Come on.
A guy that would dump $50 million into a yacht? A guy that would dump $100 million into a house?
All right.
There are people.
All right. So here's the deal. For those that don't know, Fester's real job, this is just a little play toy. Yeah, Fester on the MJ Morning Show, this is a hobby.
Week-to-week gig.
Yeah, exactly. This is a day-to-day kind of deal around here, even for me, because you never know what's going to happen in the broadcast business. Because, listen, media's just falling apart.
All right.
You see the St. Pete Times? Or what are they called now? The Tampa Bay Times?
If it didn't happen on Wednesday or Saturday, I don't know. You just asked the question. Did I see it? No, if it didn't happen on Wednesday or Saturday, it didn't happen because those are the only days the paper comes out. Right?
So the Tampa Bay Times, they publish Wednesday, Sunday, but that's not where I'm headed. They're offering early buyouts. So they're cutting their staff by a significant percentage over at the Tampa Bay Times because the revenue model's not working. And the so-called digital model is not paying off. All these digital dreams that are just not paying off, So,
all those listicles of like the top 4 pizza places in Valrico?
I'm just saying that I just saw what happened yesterday with the Tampa Bay Times. That's it. Yeah. All right, so where was I?
RVs. $2.5 million RV.
For those that don't know, Fester works at General RV, and Fester, you've been a sales guy at General RV since the end of the MJ Morning Show, essentially. Back in 2012 when we first ended the show after our initial 18-year run, and then Fester needed to go find something. And the Chad and Christie show, they weren't jumping to hire Fester. So
it was going to be the Fester and Christie show, but
you were coming between their marriage.
Fester had a plot to off Chad.
I met Christy at a very rocky time in their relationship.
Yeah. Fester.
But they're doing better now.
Fester jumped right in. All right. So here's the deal. Fester ends up in the RV business, and Fester still works at General RV.
Slinging them.
Yeah. Slinging the RVs. So I saw this story, and the headline was, "The world's most luxurious motorhome, a $2.5 million mega mansion on wheels."
All right, this is a ridiculous vehicle for anybody.
Right?
Because if you run over one curb, all kinds of stuff can break. That's in any vehicle, any RV.
If you hit a pothole?
They aren't designed for really rugged.
Essentially, just drive on any street in the city of Tampa. Our pothole problem in my city, I live in Tampa. The Tampa pothole problem is just our roads are in just such bad shape. The city of Tampa roads are like ass. I mean, it's just terrible. All right,
hemorrhoidal ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the roads are dotted with hemorrhoids. Yeah. Yeah.
Like cellulite ass. It's really,
Yeah, that's a better way
real
because of
potholey.
dents,
So, listen, so there's
indentations.
this $2.5 million RV that exists. It's not being mass produced. It's
Right.
a custom order piece, but it's insane.
I guess why would you put $2.5 million into an RV?
It depends what your standard of existing is.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, it's on a Prevost platform.
Yeah, Prevost is the company that are they like a French Canadian company?
They build all the bus chassis and all the like Taylor Swift's tour bus is a Prevost.
So so it's spelled Prevost, so it looks like it's Prevost, but it's pronounced Prevost. And aren't they a French Canadian company? Aren't they like out of Quebec or something?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. Prevost, formerly known as a Canadian manufacturer of touring coaches and bus shells for high-end motorhomes and specialty conversions.
Yes, so you can buy their shell, buy their frame, and then convert it into what you want. And you see a lot of not Greyhound, but Greyhound-style buses that are. You'll see Prevost on the back.
Right. So I'm looking at the Wikipedia here. The company is a subsidiary of the Volvo Buses division of the Volvo Group, and the Volvo Group, aren't they? They're owned by the Chinese now. Did you know that the Chinese own Volvo?
I had no idea.
Yeah, China. China now owns Volvo. Seriously.
Did you know that if I had a Fester aspirational story before we started to working together on this show? When I met Fester, or that wasn't the first time I met you, when I hung out with him at General RV for an appearance.
Q105 remote at General RV. They're going to send Roxanne Wilder out there.
Yeah.
And we did a call-in together.
We did.
Really?
We did. And so Fester showed me one of these big tricked out RVs.
I'm sure he did.
Oh, yeah. We went and sat inside it. I took pictures. I think, did I just have a baby? Was I pregnant? I can't remember. I was like that time period where I
was the
always-
motorhome a rocking? Don't come a knocking?
Didn't
Yeah.
matter to me.
So we were sitting in there. I still have the photos on my phone out to find them.
You took photos of the motorhome rocking?
I took a photo of her in the RV.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so we met there.
But you know what? You didn't know this happened. I went home and I told Doug I wanted to buy an RV and I wanted to homeschool our kids. And I had everything plotted out where we were going to go, all the states we were going to hit that I haven't been to yet.
Oh, and you could have had the map painted on the back of the RV where then you fill in each state that you visit. Have you seen that?
Yes,
You
those are
drive
cool.
down the road and you get the whole map of the lower 48, the
Yeah.
contiguous United States, and you have the hobbyists, the motorhome hobbyists. Then they fill in the outline of each state that they've driven to in their motorhome. Now, question.
We call them enthusiasts, not hobbyists. by the way. There's a big difference.
Motorhome enthusiast.
There's a big
All right,
difference.
so, Roxanne, when you went to General RV after the MJ Morning Show had ended our first run in 2012 to do a Q105 remote, and you met Fester, did you know that it was Fester from the MJ Morning Show?
Oh, of course, because we had met previously at a poker tournament right down the street.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
my
met a couple
God,
times.
you guys have all the vices going on.
Yeah, we have all-
Poker and
Yep.
I also-
motorhome romping and
I
everything.
saw her once in a crack den as well. So
Yes.
between,
Oh, really?
between motorhome romping, gambling,
Wow.
and crack
And-
habits.
We never saw each other, but we know that we passed each other in Perkins years ago, late nights at Perkins. We've
Yeah.
pinpointed that period of time too. But
All
Fester,
right.
the only thing, you know what made me not do that? Because then I started researching how expensive it was to go to the different fancy places I wanted to keep my motorhome at or my RV at.
Everything's an investment.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, when you
To
go
park
and you
it?
park it, and you go to all these luxurious, all the places that I wanted to go to.
Yeah, but listen,
like these luxurious.
It's got to be cheaper. It's got to be infinitely cheaper to take your motorhome and rent a little space at a motor. What do you call those places where you pull in?
Campsites?
Yeah, that right there.
It's
Yeah.
all about what you want, though. What
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted was next level. Doug's like, yeah, this isn't
Like
affordable.
hotels.
What do you
Yes.
mean? What, crash into the first floor of the Ritz-Carlton? What are you talking about? how, so you go to a campsite that's got to be infinitely cheaper
Fester,
with
explain.
your RV than staying at a hotel of any quality level.
In all things, there are degrees of
Yes.
quality.
Yes.
From restaurants to cars to, you can buy a $30,000 car, you can buy a $130,000 car. What's the difference? They
Anyway,
both get you to the grocery store.
What the hell does this $2.5 million motorhome have in it?
So it's got What the big difference is the lithium battery package.
The what?
The lithium battery package.
Which is going to catch on fire?
It's the power source of the
Okay.
entire
Right.
coach, which makes it completely remote. You can boondock in it. You don't need any hookups, which is very unique for a coach that size.
The cockpit seats, meaning the driver's seat and the passenger seat, are $20,000 each. You can get a $20,000 seat for the front of the motorhome?
These are really nice seats.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you're not driving these motorhomes in like a bucket seat or like a little like the seat that's in the front of a Kia. These are really, really well done seats.
Anyway, come on. I still don't see.
there's-
I don't know how you could possibly put $2.5 million into a motorhome.
Okay.
All right. 6:30 at the MJ Morning. Have you sold any of these?
I would never buy one, and General would never sell one that expensive.
All right. So
Because
they don't.
what happens is
What is you work at General RV. What is the most expensive motorhome that you've seen roll through the lot there?
there's a couple of them pushing $1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah. Pushing. A couple of MSRPs that are over, but nobody pays MSRP.
All right, so you can wheel and deal. Go see Fester if you're looking for a motorhome.
Unless you're buried in your trade.
Hey, Fester, unless you're upside down.
Unless you're buried in your trade, then we
Yeah.
need that MSRP money.
All right, so Fester, give out your cell number.
Yeah, they have it. 813-310-8444.
Yeah, if anyone wants to...
Don't call me if you're a stroke, okay? I mean, if you're like, yeah, we're looking in 4 years, save my time. But if you're looking in 4 days, it's a different story.
All right, so if you want to buy anything, and you'll sell everything from like little camper trailers all the way up to the $1 million homes.
Different levels of enthusiasm, but yes.
Right. So call Fester if you're looking for an RV. If you know anyone looking for an RV, just call Fester. 813-310-8444. Hey, I've got a great pile of early morons in the news next here on the MJ Morning Show. So stand by. 641, MJ and the crew, and a couple of follow-ups, Fester and Roxanne, in the Morons in the News today. Yeah, from the follow-up files of some previous Morons in the News stories. Do you remember the library girl? Do you remember the girl that was shooting like adult content, like OnlyFans stuff inside a library, got in trouble? Remember that whole story?
Oh, man, I go to the library like once every other week and never see anything like that.
I have not been to the library in a very, very long time.
Oh, no, my kids love the library.
Yeah. No, listen, I can get it. I understand. But
I don't go for myself.
Yeah, if
I don't know how to read.
Yeah, I order the books that I want. They show up at the house, and then I just read on the couch or lying in bed or on a flight or wherever. All right, so library girl. She just got whacked with a felony drug rap.
Ooh.
So let me bring you up to speed here. Kendra Sunderland. She did these solo sex scenes in an Oregon State University library. Remember, that helped launch her adult porno career. Well, she was arrested. We did this story, it seemed like a year ago or so. So she was arrested last week on a felony drug charge now in Texas. Sunderland is 29 years old. She was busted last Thursday while driving on Interstate 45 in Willis, Texas. It's about 50 miles north of Houston. She was behind the wheel, driving a 2013 Lexus. She was pulled over by the Montgomery County, Texas Sheriff's Office. According to a redacted incident report, Sunderland was nabbed for possession of a controlled substance, apparently marijuana, booked into the county jail. She was then released. Now, Sunderland, who's listed in police records as a Las Vegas resident, she became very, very famous for filming a 31-minute webcam performance inside the Oregon State University library. The video made its way online. It showed her exposing her breasts and other
We get it.
parts of her body. She was...
Was she in the anatomy section of the library?
That's a good question.
I mean, that would only be appropriate.
I don't think so. But she was doing all kinds of stuff in the library. Now, this is when she was attending Oregon State University, and she was not registered for classes when she used the library's Wi-Fi connection to then broadcast her webcam performance over her laptop computer. Anyway, she was charged with public indecency, and then she was hit with a whole misdemeanor charge there. But then from that, she launched her adult film career, and that then launched her social media career.
Okay.
800,000 Instagram followers.
Why does it feel like you're reading her resume like we're interviewing her for a job?
What?
Yeah.
You know what she is good at if she wants a job that's not in the adult film industry? She's really good at putting on makeup. Holy cow. Look at her mugshot and then look at her dolled up shots.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this, MJ.
I am.
Wow.
Fester's on TMZ, and they've got a series of pictures. I think her mugshot looks pretty good. I mean, she's not unattractive without makeup and in bad lighting with a crappy camera at a jail as she's getting booked. That's not a bad booking photo. But then I see what you're saying, that some of her completely dolled up pictures where she's all jacked up, with all kinds of, probably like an hour and a half of makeup application. She looks, she looks very good.
Yeah, she looks spectacular in her makeup. I mean, she's got a nice canvas to paint on.
We have the hots for this internet porno chick?
No, I'm just the side by side.
Says the guy that read every detail of her career. Okay,
dude,
I'm
going to describe every inch of her face.
I'm just saying that
some girl who made a dirty video in Oregon a year and a half ago gets busted for pot in Texas, and MJ's giving it the whole dissertation.
It was a little longer than a year and a half ago. But hang on a sec.
Yes,
there was something else. We talked about this like within the last year or two. But anyway, now the library sex girl has now been busted on a felony drug rap in Texas.
Yeah, for carrying weed. She wasn't a drug mule.
All right.
It's not like she had like kilos in the back of her Kia.
But she was hit with a felony, not a misdemeanor. All right, moving along. The second follow-up file, Morons in the News story. Do you remember the school lunchroom worker that stole $1.5 million worth of chicken wings? We talked about this. This is also within the last year or so. there's an update.
They would over-order the chicken wings.
Oh,
They weren't accounted for.
She was sentenced. Yeah. An Illinois school worker. Folks, if you think that you figured something out, you work at a institution, you work at a business, and you think that you can just kind of pad the orders, kind of push things under the rug, bury stuff in invoices. Oh, you're ordering all kinds of materials, and, well, you're just going to add a little extra. You're going to pad things up. Then you're going to steal it, take it. Oh, they'll never notice. Well, you know what? $1.5 million of additional chicken wings. You know what? That might get even the stupidest, dopiest boss's attention, or the most oblivious company with a moron in the accounting office.
Well, we got an accounting discrepancy from last year.
Listen,
there's a lot more chicken.
Illinois school worker is going to prison in Illinois for the next 9 years after she stole 11,000 cases of chicken wings worth $1.5 million that were meant for students at the school system where she worked.
Okay, and so who was she turning him over to? Who was buying the hot chicken wings? I mean the, hot as in stolen.
Yeah, well, listen, hot chicken, that's a big thing right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's popping up with, their iteration of, the spicy hot chicken, hot chicken.
So this is hot chicken.
Vera Liddell used her position as the food service director at the Harvey School District 152 in Illinois to carry out the chicken wing heist here. That was only unearthed after the district realized the school system blew past its budget. Yeah, as she ordered $1.5 million, 11,000 cases of. Can you fathom 11,000 cases of chicken wings? Fester saying, that's lunch.
I could fathom it, but all the effort to move that much material.
My God, 68 years old. She started the scheme in July of 2020. So this was kind of during the whole, COVID situation. And she continued her scheme from July of 2020 until February of 2022, when the budget apparently was blown and she set off all kinds of red lights and sirens and alarms saying, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Yeah. Well, she bought up the incredible amount of chicken wings and used a school cargo van to pick up the food. Students never saw one single wing. According to WGN television in Chicago, schools were closed, but the district near Chicago was still sending out meal kits to students in remote learning areas during the height of the pandemic. She was originally charged with theft and operating a criminal enterprise in January of 2023. Yeah, we did this in the last year. Liddell, who was the food service head for 10 years at the district, took a guilty plea and received a 9-year prison sentence. Yeah. A school business manager found food costs were $300,000 over budget, even though there were still months left in the school year. So finally, they figured out that the numbers were not adding up. 11,000 cases of chicken wings. Now, the question I think Roxanne asked, what the hell was she doing with the chicken wings?
Yeah, where are they going?
Well, it was Mama Little's chicken wing house.
I bet.
Ooh.
No, you know what? I don't know.
Did she have like a food truck? Did her son have a food truck or something?
The story that I have, it didn't say what she was doing with the 11,000.
That's a key part of this reporting. Who's ever on this hot chicken wing beat needs to find out where they were going. They're not just all stuffed somewhere.
Festa, I'll tell you what.
What?
All right. Do some quick research, and I'm wondering if when we did the story originally, I'm wondering if we revealed what she was doing with the 11,000 cases of chicken wings.
She had a lot of crab traps.
Yeah, that story's got to be out there. See if we can dig that up. And we'll hopefully give you another update in a second when we get back. Now, in minutes, Fester, your little schemes of freeloading at Disney could be over. All right? Also, another freeloading story. This is right up Fester's alley. I'm waiting for you to do this.
What is it?
You know, in fact, you know what? I'm going to run something by you.
I'm always
and
open.
I'm waiting for you to say, oh, we've been there, done that.
I'm always open to
All
a
right,
new scam.
So Fester's quite the scamster.
Let's
So
go.
hold on. What am I talking about? I'll make it crystal clear next here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hey, with along with Fester and Roxanne. And hey, we have our visitor again. Our media shadower is back. Welcome back to the studio. So when do you actually go back to school up in Virginia?
So I don't actually head back till the 28th, and
Right.
school doesn't start until first week in September, so I've got time.
Oh, fantastic. And you just wrapped up your internship at Fox 13.
I did.
So how many days a week were you at Fox 13?
3.
And tell me, what is the most important thing that you learned when you interned at Fox 13 this summer?
That's kind of hard to say. I think the number one thing is never see other people as like competition. Always be willing to learn from everyone.
And who was the best person at Fox 13? Which personality made maybe the biggest impression upon you? Which well-known TV name at Fox 13 left you with, I guess, the most positive impression of your internship?
It's kind of hard to tell. I would probably give a huge shout out to Linda Hurtado.
Oh, yeah.
She
Linda, yeah.
she took a lot of time. She spent a lot of time giving me some pointers along the way. So I really appreciate that.
That is fantastic. Linda Hurtado. Look at that.
I love her.
Good old Linda. We love Linda.
Yeah, Linda's been around the market for a while. She was at ABC Action News. She was at Channel 28 for a while.
Hold on, MJ.
And then, yes.
Roxanne needs to FaceTime her children right now on the second day. So,
Yeah,
Roxanne,
sorry.
don't be quiet about it, Roxanne.
Really?
Say hi
Hi.
to-
Yeah, say
she's
hi.
She's FaceTiming the kids
All right.
during the segment
All
here.
right.
I love you. Oh, she's signing. Okay, so we can do this quietly. Yep, there you go.
Oh,
I love
she's
you.
signing?
Your sign
Yes.
languaging? Good.
Just gave Roxanne the middle finger.
Yes. Yes.
That was the sign.
That's about all of the sign language stuff my kids know.
I saw the
Tell
sign.
Doug I said hello.
Yes.
He's off. They're off.
All right,
That's it.
good. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye. All right, Fester, did you find...
Yeah.
All right,
So,
folks, if you're just tuning in, we did Morons in the News a moment ago, and we had a follow-up story. There was a woman, and we did the story in the last year or so. There was a woman in Illinois, and she was like a lunchroom manager in a school district. And she ripped the district off for 11,000 cases of chicken wings. She was ordering chicken wings. The school district in Illinois was paying for the wings, and they were not being served to the students. 11,000 cases, $1.5 million in chicken wings. Did you say it was Gordon Food Service?
so that's where they were ordered through,
Right.
which Gordon, have you ever been to the Gordon Food Service store?
No, so I'm aware of it. You know,
Yeah.
you see the different trucks. You know,
Yeah.
you've got Cisco.
Yeah.
You've got Performance Food Group. You know, you see Cheney Brothers. You know, you see the different food service companies that are on the road. And I've seen Gordon. I know I've seen Gordon trucks locally as well.
Yeah, so they have a store in Northdale, Mabry. Anyways,
Okay.
but they ordered a lot of chicken wings from the folks at Gordon. They actually got to know her really well because of her huge orders of just chicken wings. They never knew that she was with the school board or put it together that the school board would never serve those wings.
Oh,
to
no.
the-
Hold on a sec. They had to know that she was with the school system.
They never put it together.
Wait a sec. The school district was paying for the chicken wings.
The person loading the truck did not know this. They didn't put that together.
Where they were loading the truck at the
truck,
school?
They were
She
loading it.
wouldn't she drive there with a van or something
Right,
and
and
pick
the-
up the wings?
And the folks
Okay.
at Gordon would load the truck.
Right. But the school system was getting the bill for the chicken wings.
Right.
Gotcha.
$1.5 million, 11,000 cases. So the update, folks, the reason why we're bringing this back up is the woman was just sentenced to 9 years in prison up in Illinois. And I said to Fester, the story I have, it doesn't say what she was doing with the chicken wings.
Right.
So I assigned Fester a flash research assignment. And I said, Fester, find out what the hell was she doing with the chicken wings. And Fester, you have determined through extensive research over the last 12 minutes.
It is unclear what became of the chicken wings.
There is no story.
No word.
Do stories even say that
Yeah.
it was unclear?
This is an article from Newsweek about her recent sentence.
Yeah.
And halfway, right toward the end of the story, it is unclear what became of the chicken wings.
But wait, that doesn't make any sense because how about the people who she was supplying them to? I guess, is she the only guilty party? Or, they're moving hot chicken wings.
Yeah, hot
These are
wings.
stolen wings.
Got hot wings, hot and spicy wings.
This is an operation that other people
Well,
have to be involved with.
Did they know that they were
Yeah.
accepting stolen property?
Right.
Somebody comes
Yeah.
by with a truck full of meat and you have a food truck or something. Yeah, I'll buy
Yeah.
10 cases.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Buy meat out of the back of
Yeah.
a truck from somebody. That's a mystery. What the heck? That 11,000 case. We're not talking about 2 or 3 cases that fell off a truck. We're talking about 11,000 cases of chicken wings. How do they not know where the damn chicken wings went? Come on.
The cops must know, right?
All right, well, wouldn't that come out in the media? Of course it would.
School board would never serve chicken wings because they have bones in them.
Is that a rule?
According to this same story that I read,
Oh, really?
it's something on the prohibited items list because of choking
Well, that's
hazard.
So-
in Illinois. Is that a standard that's set like with lunchrooms and school district food programs across the country, that they don't serve?
They have to be boneless.
It has been many, 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 many years since I've sat in a school cafeteria and consumed anything, but I cannot recall anything with bones. Most things were Jell-O or pizza or chocolate milk or something.
Hey, Fester, heads up on something here.
Yes.
Fester is one of the biggest freeloaders on the planet. You're probably just a click away from ripping off 11,000 cases of chicken wings, to be quite honest.
If you put 11,000 cases of chicken wings in front of me, I just might.
Disney has implemented a zero-tolerance policy with immediate guest ejection.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, can you explain this to us? Andrew, our producer, is Mr. Disney. The only place that Andrew ever visits on vacation is a Disney property. Andrew, our producer, is a Disney season pass holder. Andrew just went on vacation back in, was it July? Andrew, of course, was at Disney. Andrew, can you explain this ejection policy? It has to do with the pools. So the pools at the Disney resorts, for many, are more than a place to cool off. It's an immersive experience, literally. Disney's Yacht and Beach Club Resort has a stunning beachfront atmosphere, complete with a lazy river, a sandy bottom pool called the Stormalong Bay. The Polynesian Village Resort offers a tropical oasis with its Seven Seas Lagoon. I don't think that was there when I was at Disney, when I was like 8 years old in 1974. Yeah. We stayed at the Polynesian in 1974.
Yeah, they've probably added it in the last 50 years.
Have they refurbed the room since then, just out of curiosity?
Very much so.
All right. And, that's where the monorail runs right through the middle of the hotel.
That is not. That's
a contemporary.
I'm sorry. You're right. Hey, we stayed at the Contemporary.
How can you conflate or confuse Contemporary and Polynesian?
You're right. I screwed it up. All right. So we stayed at the Contemporary, and we also stayed at the Polynesian. In 74, when I was 8 years old, I can't remember which one we stayed at, whether it was Polynesian or whether it was Contemporary. But you're right. Made a mistake. Correction. All right. So I've stayed at both. But Fester, you are known for trying to just show up at a place and utilize their pool facilities. The point here is that Disney now has a zero-tolerance policy. Listen, Disney has been cracking down on non-resort guests visiting their resorts. If you want to park at any Disney resort, you would need to be dining at the resort with a dining reservation, and that's one of your hacks, right?
That's the hack. That's the get-through. There's a bunch of get-throughs, but the least time-consuming.
You're not going to share them all, right?
I will. I have no problem. I can start a YouTube channel on how to hack Disney.
Do you know about the Contemporary? Go have the kids the character breakfast at Contemporary, park there, and then go to the parks.
Well, Contemporary is the best parking because you can walk 100 yards right to the front gate of the park.
Contemporary is where the monorail runs through it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I stayed there and Polynesian.
And you don't pay for parking, and you don't have to ride like the boat or the tram to get in there.
I think what you were starting to say, MJ, you were asking Andrew, have they updated the rooms in the Contemporary? Because it's been called the Contemporary since the 70s.
That's what I meant. Have they updated the rooms in the Contemporary?
Yeah. All right. What do you want to know? Are you trying to tell me something, or do you want to know something?
No, I'm just telling you that they are now cracking down, and there's going to be a zero tolerance, and they're going to eject anyone that tries to freeload by showing up and trying to use their facilities like the pool facilities, like you've done a dozen times with your family.
3 weeks ago. I'm going to do it again during Labor Day.
So how are you not getting ejected?
Because, first of all, if you want to fit in anywhere, look like you fit in.
Act like you belong.
Yeah, act like you belong there. That's rule number one.
Amazing.
You make a reservation for the restaurant. Right. You get past the gatekeeper. You park your car right in the front, and you walk right in. You have a pool bag. Kids are already wearing bathing suits. Has like a T-shirt on top. You walk right out to the pool. You set up, and you're out there with everybody else. Nobody knows anything.
Disney will turn away guests entering the resort if they don't have a reservation at the hotel,
right, or
a reservation at the restaurant.
This is not new news.
But that's been one of your hacks for a while. Is you make a restaurant reservation and you get in, and then once you're in, you cancel your restaurant reservation.
Most of the time, that's what happens. Yes, because they charge you $10 a head if you don't show up. So I make a reservation for.
And how soon before Go
Anytime.
time.
They don't care.
Can you cancel and not be charged the no-show fee?
They don't care as long as you show up. But you go up to the counter, you say, "Hey, the kids aren't even hungry yet. I think we're gonna just go out to the park." All right, thanks. They check you in, you cancel it, and you're on.
You're awful.
Last time we went to the Floridian, Grand Floridian. What's it called, Andrew? The Grand Floridian.
Yeah, that's it.
We went to the Grand Floridian and we made a reservation at the Floridian Cafe, whatever it's called, and we had a lovely lunch. It was fantastic.
Oh, so you actually spent
We
the
went-
dime.
Yeah, we spent.
Oh,
There.
wow, you actually... Hold on, folks. This is busting news. Busting news on the MJ Morning Show. Yeah, look. Fester actually spent a dime at Disney.
You
Wow.
spend a meal, go get a meal. I mean, I took 16 towels, but you bought.
And then here's another one right up Fester's rip-off alley.
What?
Homeowner finds family using their private swimming pool.
So
They come home and someone's just parked in
Wait.
front of someone's house using their pool. This sounds like another Fester deal. Get into scam your way into some gated community, drive around, find a nice house, gotta
Okay.
peek over the fence. No cars in the driveway. Doesn't appear that anyone's. Some Amazon packages are still on the porch.
Perfect.
They're not home. Hey, kids. Hey, we're at the pool.
see, the idea behind that one is the odds of getting shot are too great.
Oh,
Everything is risk reward.
hey, kids, instead of wearing your floaties, you're going to wear little Kevlar vests.
Listen,
little bulletproof
the number one rule of
bulletproof. I don't think those float. I think those will
No,
put,
those sink
right
you
to the
down to the
ground.
those will
bottom.
put the kids on the bottom
Right
of
to
the
the ground.
pool.
The number one rule of grifting is risk reward. I mean, it's not worth breaking into someone's private property. However,
Unbelievable.
Roxanne's sister gave me a pass to their community pool.
Oh,
And
great.
we'll use that once in a blue moon.
Oh.
I mean, MJ, you want to talk about like a Four Seasons level pool? It
that's
is
nice.
this pool, and
Anyway, I saw another story that a family comes home and strangers are just totally lounged out at their pool in their backyard. I'm like, wait a minute. Was it a big fat guy with a Hawaiian shirt? It's
what I'm wearing today.
It's Fester.
I think I read a similar story to the one you're describing, MJ, about the people at the pool.
Yeah.
But were these people, did they legitimately book a pool to rent and someone else was grifting by setting up this pool that wasn't theirs to rent out?
No, not that. I have. Just
Okay.
Homeowner comes home.
Just random people.
A family just, nothing. They don't rent out their house. It's their main residence. It's not an Airbnb.
Did you know
what?
there is an Airbnb like service
Yes.
for just your pool?
Yeah,
There
we
is.
talked about that.
Right,
In the past.
okay, all right.
We talked about that you can rent out your pool.
I knew I heard about it somewhere.
Yeah, we talked about it on the MJ Morning Show like 2 years ago,
I listen to
3
that
years ago.
I listen to that show every day.
That's fantastic.
Oh wow, I knew I heard it somewhere.
We start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next. Yeah, we are absolutely loaded. What is coming up? Well, Fester's got an issue.
Hey, why don't you guys come to Disney with me and grift some pools like during Labor Day? What are you doing during Labor Day? Huh? Are the kids in town? I'll make a reservation for 7.
I'm not
And then we'll cancel the reservation.
I'm
we'll
not-
hang out at the pool all day.
I'm not
Let me-
grift-
We'll ride the monorail. We'll
I'm
ride
not grifting at Disney
Dude,
with you.
You ride the
No,
Skyliner? Have you
no.
ever been on the Skyliner?
Just act like you belong,
Just act
MJ.
like you
That's
fit in.
it.
Hey, do you want to hear about the tables turned?
Ooh,
So
yeah.
Fester's a grifter and scams, and he's always working some kind of an angle.
Uh-huh.
The Fester family apparently got scammed.
We got grifted.
Oh, no.
All right,
You didn't see that one coming.
All right, hold on. Fester's wife got scammed.
This is such a big deal.
All right, apparently this is the source of a lot of consternation in the house right now. Hang on. That and so much crap, I can't even list it, is coming up in our hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next. Let me tell you. Oh, this is so fitting. I actually have an item that classical music is brain stimulating, helps synchronize the brain, and that classical music can be as effective as like medicine in some cases. Yeah, there's a new study finds out that classical music can help with depression. Little classical rejoin bumper, little Take on Joy, you know, a famous classical piece, right?
All right.
Yeah. No, seriously, there's a whole study finds that depression affects millions worldwide, and some traditional treatments don't provide relief. But a new study suggests that classical music could be a powerful tool in treating depression.
I listen to an hour of it a day.
Wow.
Well, this is a revelation.
Yeah.
You listen to an hour of classical music every day?
Yep.
Do you listen to concertos?
Sure. I mean, I'm not an expert in it. I just listen to, I just put it on in the background, put it on my.
That's amazing because I never want to shoot myself more than when I'm listening to classical music.
You know what else the key is? I read the other day too, is you have to find stuff that you like. It's even better for your brain if it's classical music.
A synthesized version of a bunch of classical tunes. This was called. No, there was another big top 40 hit that was just a whole series of well-known classical music pieces.
All right, can I just say, whoever wrote that or put that fifth of Beethoven together is the laziest music guy in the world.
Why is that lazy?
Like, all right, guys, here's the song. We're just gonna play Beethoven and just go do 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 in the background. That's it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the other song.
What is it?
Hang on a minute.
All right.
Walter Murphy did some other ones.
Yeah, I got to figure out. Anyway, it had all these recognizable classical hits. Look, I'm just saying, I'm just passing along the science here, folks, that maybe for depression, you don't pop, your pharmaceutical. You just, put on some classical music. That's what some research is suggesting here. All right, 7:29 at the MJ Morning Show. Fester.
Yes.
The grifter has been grifted.
What would that make you, a grifty?
Hold on. Easy now.
What?
It's not first of all.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't want to.
You win some, you lose some.
All right, listen. I am not trying to suggest any schadenfreude here, where I'm reveling in taking advantage of or enjoying your misery. No.
A, if you were, that's okay. B, you can't win them all. C, I have a very high win percentage with my scams.
All right.
And once in a while, you take an L.
All right, can you list quickly, in 10 seconds, list your top scams? Go.
I can't do it in 10 seconds. I need 10 minutes.
No, you don't. Just quick.
Listen, I'm not going to unveil my whole book of secrets.
Listen to me.
Listen.
The ones you've talked about on the show, for our listeners right now, before we get into the story of you guys getting scammed by somebody, before that, just list a couple of your greatest hits.
I mean, of course, there's the hotel pools, and we've done pools around the nation. Then there's various hotels.
Just take the family, show up at a hotel, use their pool.
Then there's
not a guest. Then the other hotel scam is
the free breakfast.
Yeah, Fester just walks into one of these hotels, motels that offers the free continental breakfast in the lobby. Fester just walks in, pretends he's a guest, and has breakfast.
Listen, if you're listening to the MJ Morning Show right now and you're passing a Holiday Inn Express, just
drive
pull right in. Pull right in right now. Get yourself a nice little cinnamon bun. Get yourself a cup of coffee. They'll even give you a USA Today. All right. That's enough. All right. Okay. All right. Most of them, the rest of moving on, that really pushes the bounds of legality.
Well, what about he has his, you have to talk about your very low level, but your sweetener scam. I mean, you just, pilfer
grifting
anywhere you go for sweeteners. Is it stevia? Is that your choice?
Grifting condiments and sweetener packets is very low level stuff.
Fester goes to Wawa, buys a small coffee, and then takes the entire bin of, which one do you like?
The yellow one, stevia.
Okay.
Splenda.
Splenda. Okay.
Did you know that I only did it because we never had them here at the radio station.
If you walk into a Wawa and there's an entire bin of sweetener missing and it's the yellow packet,
you know who was there just before you.
Fester was just there because he buys a small coffee and dumps the entire bin into his pants.
So we have a little kitchenette here at the radio station.
Right.
And I saw the coffee guy a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, hey, he goes, he asked me if we needed anything. I'm like, why the hell are you asking me? I was like, you know what you could bring? Bring Splendas so I could stop stealing them. And whoever does our coffee puts them out like 6 packets at a time.
Right.
I cleaned out a whole drawer and dumped the whole case of Splenda in there. So we'll have enough Splenda for at least, 5 or 6 years.
All right. So what happened to you? Fester, the scammer, has been scammed. What happened?
It's my damn wife.
It's karma.
My lovely wife, Allison. She tried to buy something off of some perp on Facebook Marketplace. Something that I think is completely ridiculous, but she felt obligated. She thought it was a great value, and she inquired about it and made an offer on silverware, like silver, like place settings.
Like silver service.
Service, yes.
Yeah.
Service for 12 of
Of sterling silver.
sterling silver pattern called Grand Baroque.
So forks, knives, spoons.
The whole thing.
Wow.
Service for 12.
Getting all fancy over there. So
I'm like, when, we have a China pattern. I'm like, when the hell do we ever use this China
Yeah,
pattern?
that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
At what point?
When?
At what point do you need silver service
know.
for 12 at your house?
We went to the store. She picked a China pattern. We have service for like
God,
20.
you know what? Those days are over.
I know.
I mean, it's like, I'm thinking of my grandma, like circa 1970. That's when they had like silver service.
I'll never eat off China. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything
Yeah.
to me.
You get it for your wedding, and it sits in your cabinet.
I'm like, are you going to break it out at my funeral? I mean, when?
All right, so what
Anyway,
happened?
So she puts an offer in on this Grand Baroque silverware.
Where did she see the actual real silverware?
On Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace, and is this local?
And it was local. I think
wow.
Maybe Brandon, Valrico, Mulberry, out that area.
All right, so what happens?
My wife puts in an order, pays for
You
it.
mean puts in an offer?
Puts in an offer, accepted.
Okay.
The young lady says, "Listen, I'm moving."
How much was the transaction?
Like $125.
Wait a minute. $125 for 12
None of
piece for 12
service for.
what do you service for 12?
I mean, like what? 4 pieces?
I don't even know the nomenclature.
I mean, we're talking like 50 or 60 pieces of utensils.
Does that make sense?
I told Alice, I go, "What? This is
$125 for silver service for 12 people?"
And occasionally you find people who are just looking to get rid of stuff, who'll take anything for it. And I think they wanted much more, and Allison made a lowball offer.
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. All right, so what happens?
So she sends this person via PayPal $125. Right? Low-level scams, admittedly. Never comes. Allison contacts her. I dropped up at the post office. And a label was created with the tracking number, but the label is never deposited in a box.
Oh,
so the
great.
post office knew that the label had been created. It's never been sent. So Allison
Nobody is going to sell you silver service tableware for 12 place settings for $125.
I'm with you. So here's the thing. So I'm hearing about all this.
What is the current spot price of silver? Keep telling the story.
Is it $30 an ounce?
Hang on, I'm going to look it up.
Well, he's looking that up. I have to ask you, does Allison have a lot of elegant dinner parties on the horizon that you don't know about?
I go, what are we going to use silver for? I mean,
Silver per ounce right now, that's $9.99 silver.
Right.
Sterling is $9.25, so it's not pure silver, but it's enough silver. So silver, it looks like the last silver price was $27.42 an ounce.
Wasn't far off on my precious metal prices.
Pretty close.
So listen, I'm like, I hear about this once the whole thing goes to hell. And I'm like, what are we doing buying silver from people we don't know, not face-to-face transaction? Anyway.
I just got a text.
What?
I just got a text from Scott from West Coast Pawn in Lakeland.
Sure.
I would pay at least $1,500 for that.
I told Allison, I go, this is a scam. So, whose ever name they're using, right?
Yeah.
Is a real person that exists.
Oh, man.
Because we know this person's name. Allison's spoken to this person several times, both on via text message.
So they've stolen someone else's name to do the fake transaction?
I don't know, because the person's name is Kristen, and we have her last name because it's off of Facebook, and we look it up, and we find a Wikipedia that matches this person, and we find parents that match this person, and now through her LinkedIn, we know her job.
Dude, it's probably not that person.
I know.
The scammer stole the identity to pose as that person for the transaction.
I have a mutual friend with this person. Somebody I used to work with 3 jobs ago.
So I'll tell you what. Why don't you have them call who you think it is?
I did.
And I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to say, we didn't sell any silver on Facebook Marketplace.
The person that we have is a mutual friend.
Right. And
the mutual friend says, yeah, I worked with her 3 or 4 jobs ago as well. So it's not like they're best friends. Even on Facebook, you have a lot of people you're not that tight with. And it was a real outer ring acquaintance.
Yep.
So this person really exists. My old lady sends this.
No. The person exists in real life, but whoever scammed you guys is not that person. They probably stole that name. And maybe they weren't even intending to steal the name of the person you think it is. They just found a name to use for the transaction because they're not going to rip off your wife under their real name.
I know. That's why I'm trying to put the whole thing together.
And then guess what? It sounds like you guys have been put together.
Well, Allison's now, she's like, I should call her place of employment. And I'm like, do we want to do that?
No, it's not that person.
I know
Your
this.
wife did not get scammed by the person that you think you got scammed by.
So
the scammer took that person's name to fake themselves on Facebook Marketplace. Can I call your wife, or is this a very sore, sensitive situation?
Oh, she thinks she's committed now to ruining this person's life.
Good for her.
And this person is possibly a victim or a terrible scammer.
I'm calling up Allison. Allison is Fester's wife. And I want to walk gently here. I don't want to...
Lay it out. It is what it is.
Hey, Allison, it's MJ. We're live.
Hey.
Hey, when was the last time we had dinner where we used china and silver service?
I just thought it would be fun to use, and I thought it was silver plated, so I thought it was legit.
When are you going to have all
Okay.
these fancy cutlery, elegant dinner parties?
Yes, please. Let's invite over the Roxanne and the Todds and everybody else.
Yeah. Dinner for schmucks. Dinner for schmucks at Fester's house.
So, okay, it was silver plated.
That's a funny-ass movie, by the way. All right, I'm sorry.
Maybe it wasn't real silver and where
All right,
silver plated.
All right,
okay,
so
I'm
Allison,
sorry.
you didn't think it was solid real silver. You thought it was silver plated?
Silver plated for that price, and I thought
okay.
it was.
All right, because I was about to yell at you. At what point, on what planet are you on that you think you can get silver service for $12 for $125? But if it was just silver plated, then that might be a little more like it.
All right, so we have a reasonable amount of silver that we're never going to use. So this would have gone, and it was a pattern called a silver pattern, right? They make real silver out of this. Grand Baroque
was. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pattern that I've used. But the thing you're missing is she is a real person. I've done all the research on her.
But what we're saying is the name that you have, the research you've done might be a real person, but it doesn't mean that person is the one that had the ad on Facebook Marketplace.
Allison?
No, because
Explain.
I have her cell phone number, and when you backtrace her cell phone number, it goes to the same Kristen.
Yep.
That, that is. Can I say her last name?
No.
we don't want to say her last name.
Let's keep the last name off the air, because what I'm going to tell you to do is you get a message to her that if she doesn't give you the silver or send your $125 back,
We don't even want this crap silver plated stuff now.
You tell them that your husband is Fester on the MJ Morning Show, and we're going to blow their racket wide open and drag it all out on the air.
Okay, I love that idea, because you know what? I am making it my mission to make this girl's life miserable until she gets me my money.
All right.
Like, I have nothing better to do.
All right, so I'm wrong in assuming that they stole the name of somebody legit. So you have absolutely confirmed that the person who you think it is, you're saying that the person that Fester worked with 3 jobs ago that knows this person, you have confirmed that it is actually that person that ripped you off?
Correct. And her,
All right.
the PayPal address that I sent the money to, because she made me open up a Cash App first, which I should have seen it coming. I didn't. But I couldn't send the money on that Cash App. And so then she says, well, just PayPal it to my sister. So I have her sister's name, and it comes up as her sister. So I sent the money to her sister, and it comes up legally as her sister. And then, her father's a prominent cardiologist. Her mom, I got her mom's cell phone number. Like, I have her address. I mean, like, it's amazing.
All right, so you got a lot of stuff. All right, well, listen. Hey, guess
lots.
what? She might hear about just this cursory conversation at this point.
I mean, Kristen, whose dad's a cardiologist.
All right, so we're going to put...
I don't know where she works.
Are we putting Kristen on notice right here, right now?
Yes, Kristen with a Y. You are on notice that I am going to make you miserable until you give me my money.
I love how you say that in such a sweet voice. I am going to make you miserable.
All right, look. You've awakened
with you,
the
Allison.
inner beast. You've awakened You've awakened something inside of Allison Fester's wife. All right. So you get a message that this is going to be blown wide open on the MJ Morning Show on Q105 if you don't get the money back, okay?
And I'll take it to a news station after that.
Who's going to cover
Claims
this?
court. There's so many options.
Take it to the I-team. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You think
There you go.
Oh, you know what?
Better Call Bacon is going to knock on Kristen's door, the Facebook Marketplace scammer?
Hey, so Mackenzie, our shadower again, Mackenzie is so you're a communication student at Washington and Lee University in Virginia.
Yes, that's right.
So Mackenzie is shadowing us again. Mackenzie just flashed me a little note on her cell phone. Go ahead and say what you just said.
Yeah, Allison, you're reminding me of Thelma right now from the movie.
Oh, man. Thelma in the little motorized wheelchair tooling down, Ventura Boulevard or whatever.
What movie?
The movie Thelma.
I never saw the movie
Oh,
Thelma.
Come on,
the movie
Fester.
Thelma is
I
fantastic.
never saw Thelma.
Yeah, I don't think it's streaming. It's not streaming for free.
No, I
No.
got it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so we had to buy it. We had to buy it on Amazon Prime. Michelle and I watched the movie Thelma about 2 weekends ago. I think we paid $9.95. And we're like, yeah, that's cheap. You go to the movies, it's going to be much more expensive. So we rented the movie for $10. The movie is Thelma, and it's just it's fantastic. And Thelma is a senior citizen who got scammed with one of the grandmother scams.
But you're obviously not a senior citizen.
Yeah.
The grandmother scam is where the grandson or the granddaughter calls up and tricks the old lady or old man into believing that it's actually their real grandson or granddaughter, and it's not. Grandma, I'm in big trouble.
All right.
I've been arrested. I'm being held in prison. I need $5,000 right now to bond out. Help me. It's terrible in here.
Okay.
And then grandma runs to Western Union.
All right, thank you for this movie review, which I don't care about. I got somebody scamming me for $125 over here.
Well, Thelma got taken for was it 10 grand
10
or
grand.
something?
Okay, great. So this is her dad, the cardiologist,
Oh, jeez.
according to
According to
our,
Google.
Oh,
our
wow.
research.
I called her dad's work, too. I called her dad's work.
Ooh.
Allison wants to make a
Spoke with the
cardiology
nurse
appointment.
there,
Allison,
And the job matches up, and she matches up, too.
she wants to make an appointment with the dad
All right.
so she can get into the room with the dad and say, hey, by the way, your daughter
All right.
scammed me out of money.
All right, so hang on a minute. I have one question here before we move on, Allison.
Sure.
So how do you know that you were scammed in the sense that has she claimed to have shipped the silverware or if it was in branded, why wouldn't you just go pick it up? Why would you have it mailed anyway?
Well, because she said that she was moving and she couldn't she couldn't have anybody over, and it would be easier to mail it.
Oh, she diverted you from a pickup.
She diverted me from a pickup,
Ah.
gave me her cell phone number, and then transferred it over to cell. Well, I should have, just ended everything there, but she, was very, believable. And
All right, what was Fester saying that it appears that she did a tracking label, but it was never mailed? What is that all about?
So she went online and she made a label. So like when you mail something on your own, you can have an option to make the label at home, or you make it at the office, at the post office, and it starts a tracking number that you can ID in the system. Well, I went to the post office and the tracking number was started. It was initiated. However, that piece of mail was given back to her, or she took it back, and she never put it in the system. And so she's telling me that it's lost in the system. Well, I told her that there's an option. They told me that she needs to file for an insurance claim. So I need to talk with somebody with the post office to see if she's actually scamming the post office for the insurance.
All right, let me bring something else up before we move on. There is a very great chance that somebody has hijacked the real Kristen's information. So I'm just telling you right now, it happens.
It happens, Al.
It happens all the time. There is a chance that the real Kristen, whose father's a doctor that you've tracked down, there is a real chance that the real Kristen has no concept of this, did not rip you off. There is a high probability that the scammer stole this person's identity and is running these rackets under the name to make you believe it's real if you do some little sleuthing and checking. So I just want to make you aware that there is a high probability that you're not dealing still with the person that you think, that they've elaborately co-opted this person's identity to run their rackets. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Allison, it happens all the time.
It's certainly very
does.
possible.
I apologize to Kristen then if that's the case, but I'm going to make her life miserable until I get my
Well, hold on a minute. But
It's too. Allison, if it's fake, you'll never see them. Did you pay with PayPal's friends and family, or did you pay with PayPal goods and services?
That's a good question. I think I paid with goods and services.
Okay, find out, because I've had like 20 people send me a text message and said that if it's through goods and services, you can request a refund. If it's through friends and family, you're screwed.
I'm just saying, Allison, it might seem like you've nailed this person, but there's a high probability that this so-called Kristen, the real Kristen, has no idea and was not selling you silver, that somebody else ripped off that information. And
I'm going to call her mom and ask.
Well, then if you think you've tracked down the family and the mother, then call and ask. And I'm betting that the real Kristen that you think you've identified is completely unaware of what has happened here. All right?
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll make an appointment with the cardiologist's dad, and I'll toss the office.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Do not.
So you're so stressed out.
I'm guessing that the cardiologist is a great doctor.
Sure.
I'm guessing Kristen is a great daughter. And that the real Kristen has nothing to do with this, Allison. That's what I'm saying.
So you're making it into that, but I really
well, hold on.
Then
then make some calls, and if you think you can call the woman's mother, if you think you've tracked her down, then call up. And I think I know where this is headed. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
Give us a report back.
I sure will. Bye.
All right. 7:49 at the MJ Morning Show. Listen, this world is filled with rackets and scams. I mean, I've got two additional scams, two additional elderly scams that are being perped right now, which I've got in my pile here somewhere. I'll get to those a little bit later on. The world is filled with scam artists. It's a nonstop scam fest out there. Sounds too good to be true. It probably is. You know, you got to have protections. You know, you got to, if you're buying stuff on eBay, you find somebody that has 100% and a good track record. You know, Facebook Marketplace, you meet somebody in person in a public spot. A lot of the sheriff's office locations or police allow people to meet in their parking lot for transactions. Do that. That's my suggestion. All right, 7:50 now at the MJ Morning Show. I teased this item for this morning, and I want to get to it. And that is, if your boyfriend does not do this within 3 months of starting the relationship, move on. I got two women in the room here. I have Roxanne and I have Mackenzie, the intern shadower.
You really need a better name for Mackenzie.
What? It's
The intern shadower. It's
a little wordy.
Yeah, it's just a little long.
She's
We have Roxanne.
She's
And
an
Mackenzie, the
she's an intern who's shadowing us.
All I'm saying is we need a better name.
It sounds like kind of a horror movie.
All I'm
The
saying is we need a better name.
Intern
I'm not trying to get
strikes
into it.
again,
The
right?
shadow knows, right?
All right.
All right. So here's the question.
Yes.
So, ladies in the room,
Yes.
if you have a relationship and if your boyfriend does not say this within 3 months, move on. Roxanne, do you have any idea what this is?
Yes, because I read the story.
Oh, well, then you have to recuse
I have to
yourself.
recuse.
Then you must recuse yourself. All right, Mackenzie. So, Mackenzie, how old are you?
I'm 21.
21 years old. Mackenzie, if your boyfriend doesn't say this within 3 months of dating, what do you do?
I have to guess it's I love you, right?
It is. Correct. So if your boyfriend, after 3 months of dating, doesn't say, I love you, what are you supposed to do?
You're supposed to run for the hills.
Yeah, exactly. Get the hell out. That's it. Get out.
Oh.
Move on. Get out of the relationship. All right, so Roxanne, with your experience over your dating career, do you agree with that? Yes or no?
I love that it's a dating career.
So, let's review your entire dating portfolio.
Let's look at the resume, my dating resume.
Agree or disagree?
I think that, I don't think you need to have hard, fast times. I will tell you, I did have someone tell me that they loved me, like, I don't know, the second date.
Oh, my God.
And
that's a creep. You run from that as well. If somebody says they love you on date number 2, you run as well.
That's what I was going to say. There are some, some outliers that you probably want to avoid altogether. The love you on the first date.
If somebody says I love you on the first or second date, you get into Fred Flintstone foot mode, and you get the hell out of there. You
Who was this guy?
Yeah.
I married him.
Wait a sec. Your first husband?
Yeah.
Your first husband said he loved you on the second date?
It was really early on.
You married this creep?
They don't make them like you in the hills of North Carolina, do they, Rox?
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
So
Are you serious?
it was,
What a
young. We were young.
What a warning sign.
Young.
Oh, my God. I mean, that is a blaring warning. Run! 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 Creepo! 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 Run!
You know what I said?
What?
I really like your last name.
Oh,
Because I'm going to keep
And
it
I
and use it
still
for fashion.
and she still has the last name Wilder from the first marriage.
No,
Man.
Paul was not a creep at all. At all. He was just very intense.
That should have been you. I love you on the second date. I'm doing
Early
this
on.
story,
Yeah.
and you just admitted that this dude said I love you on the second date. And you get married to this guy?
I mean,
How
just-
long after he said he loved you on the second date did you guys get
It
married?
was a whirlwind romance. I think we were engaged like a couple months later.
Oh my God!
Yep.
What's the matter with you?
I searched high and low all
Fast
through
moving.
Cary in North Carolina. I've never met anybody like you.
Wow. Hey, speaking of love, did you see the story of the woman that was banned from flying by American Airlines? Have you seen this?
Yeah, this is nuts. This doesn't make any sense.
Oh, this is a complete. Well, this is apparently like mistaken identity.
Yeah.
On like the terrorist no-fly list. Who was the? There was a famous senator. Who was the senator that was like on the no-fly list? Like, his name was. Remember that?
Yeah, the Illinois Senator, Obama.
No. Oh, no, dude. No, there was a why don't you go to the
Senator on no-fly list?
Yeah.
Like a U.S. Senator.
No. Just do a search. I don't think that was it, Andrew.
Senator? We're talking about a United States Senator?
United States Senator was on a no-fly list and would get to the airport and they would not let him on the airplane.
J.D. Vance.
Hang on.
No, I was kidding. It was not Vance.
No, who the hell was it? It was somebody well known.
Was it recent?
It was,
I've got
no. It was after 9/11. Who was it?
Edward Kennedy.
Yes, it was Ted Kennedy. That's right. It was Ted Kennedy. Somehow was on the no-fly list. He'd show up at the airport. They wouldn't let him board the plane.
Oh, my gosh.
Hi, I'm Ted Kennedy. They wouldn't let him on the plane.
No entry.
You certainly want him flying instead of driving.
I'm telling you right now that we have people.
Let's let it go. They either got it or you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
But-
All right. So, I'm sure there are people listening right now who have post 9/11. It's probably cleared up by now that you somehow ended up on the no-fly list, or you knew somebody that was on the no-fly list, and it was just a major, major hassle. And a lot of times it was people with somewhat common names that had their name confused with others on the no-fly list. So here's the story that I'm talking about.
Wait, before you get into it, it's American Airlines, right?
Yes.
Okay. You'll be so proud of Evelyn. The other day, we were talking to one of my friends who's a flight attendant on American, and she starts talking about things about American Airlines policies, which I'd like to share with you sometime. Maybe over coffee, maybe wherever. Just cool, plain talk, because I know you love that.
All right.
Okay.
Wait a second. What did you say?
I'm just
You want me
teasing.
to have lunch with your friend?
No,
No.
with me, coffee. Well, I have plain talk to bring
Where
to
are
the
we going
table.
with
Hold on.
All right.
You want to have coffee? I don't drink coffee.
I know that's why I
Let
said
her
that.
finish. Let her finish.
But so my flight attendant friend is talking about American Airlines, and Evelyn goes, I hate American. I only like to fly Delta.
Really?
Yes.
Your 7-year-old said that? What'd your friend say?
I go, honey, this is her. This is who she works for. We love American Airlines. I'm like, she's confused. She's confused.
Gotcha. All right, so listen to this. Erin Wright was at the airport getting ready to get on the flight, and they wouldn't let her board. And they said that she was on the no-fly list for American Airlines. This woman was getting ready to fly out and was told, nope, you can't get on the airplane. You've been permanently banned from flying American Airlines because, you're going to love this, you were caught having sex in one of our airplane lavatories during a flight with a man.
But I think she's got some proof.
That's what she was told. And she's like, wait a sec. I was not having sex with a man on a previous American Airlines flight in the lavatory because I'm a lesbian.
I was not in the lavatory with a you-know-what doing it. And I have proof.
Erin Wright has told the story now. This has gone totally viral. I've got some audio bites to play of Erin Wright as well. And she said that American Airlines banned her from flying. She said she got permanently banned because she had sexual relations with a man in the restroom. So she does this 5-minute video. She posts this online. She put this up on August 8th. It's got millions of views so far. And it talks about how she was banned from boarding her flight to New Orleans for her sister's bachelorette party. Anyway, listen to some of the audio bites here. So she's like, I wasn't having sex with a guy. I don't have sex with guys. I'm a lesbian. Listen.
In June, I went to fly to my sister's bachelorette party, and I went to check into my flight on my phone, and it didn't work. So when I got to the airport, like an hour and a half early, I went to the kiosk, and it also errored, and I started to get nervous, so I just went to the help desk for American Airlines and asked them to check me in, and they were really nice, and they were like, sure. So they go to check in, and it errors for them too, and they're like, oh, don't even worry, you probably just put your name or your birth date in wrong when you were entering your information when you bought the flight. Let us call someone and get it fixed.
All right. She goes on.
They get off the phone. The lady looks nervous, and she's like, ma'am, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you've actually been banned from flying American Airlines. And I was like, what did I get banned for? Can you tell me? She was like, I'm really sorry. It's an issue of internal security. I can't tell you, but the person on the phone told me that you should know why. And I was like, well, I don't know why. So how do I fix this? Like, I need to fix it now. And she told me to call customer service. So I call customer service, and they also tell me it's an issue of internal security. And I'm like, wait, why can't you tell me if it involves me? Why is this like an issue with security or confidentiality? I was so confused. But I was like, okay, so how do I get this information about how I got banned? So she tells me to go contact customer relations. And this is all while I'm at the airport still about to miss my flight. So I'm like, okay, can you please give me the number for the customer relations, because I'm running out of time and I need to get this all cleared up. And she was like, actually, you can only email them. Oh. And I was like, great.
I need to get a hold of.
What a disaster!
I need to get a hold of customer relations because you're accusing me of having sexual relations. You know, we're American Airlines. You can't fly us because you had sex. It's one of their. Remember that old jingle? Where what was it? What was it?
You hit the notes.
We're American Airlines.
I don't know.
Doing what we do best.
Doing what we do best. Yeah, yeah.
And
we're
you're not doing
American Airlines. Don't do it in our bathroom. You know. Anyway, she continues with her story.
While I cry and call my mom, start emailing customer relations saying that I'm really confused and I don't know why I've been banned. If they could tell me why, that would be great. Then I finally hear back from customer relations saying that they can't tell me what happened and they need to reach out to corporate security to get them to contact me to tell me what happened. And I'm being sent through the craziest loopholes to figure this out. I then finally get an email from corporate security telling me that I have been banned because I was having sexual relations with a man on a flight while intoxicated. Well, let me tell you, I am a 24-year-old lesbian. Do you see me? Am I having sexual relations with any man? No. Also, keep in mind that it took 12 days and many emails from me between when I contacted customer relations to when I actually got an email back from corporate security. So this process is taking forever.
And then she had to book another last-minute flight at a ridiculous price in order to get to her sister's bachelorette party.
So I emailed corporate security back and I'm like, hey, it wasn't me. So can you please take me off the list and
It wasn't
also
me.
give me some money because this was your error and I'm now out $1,400. Wow. To which corporate security responds and says that I need to send them an official appeal through the email and tell them exactly why I didn't do it. So I emailed them a very serious email, but also somewhat funny because in it, I'm like, I don't really know how to prove that it wasn't me except for the fact that I'm literally a lesbian and I can like get you letters from other people telling you that that's the truth.
I could get certified, verified, notarized lesbian proof letters.
It's the modern day reference letter. Can you write me a lesbian letter, please? Listen,
I need
I've known you for a long time, and
I need a notarized lesbian.
I've never had sex with you because you're a man, and I find wieners disgusting.
All right, this is Marge. I'm dating her.
You know what I'm wondering if that would work? What if a female was caught? She's a female also, but was caught with a woman and was on the no-fly list for being with a woman in the lavatory. Would she then be able to prove her point with heterosexual letters?
I have
reference
letters to my sexuality. And
Right.
I'm apparently fine.
Hey, here's my reference letter from Dick, okay? All right?
Why is the page blank, ma'am?
So it's August, and this started in June.
Yep.
And I still haven't heard back from corporate security, and I'm like, how am I going to get this resolved? Like, I need to get off this list. I can't be on the no-fly list for the rest of my life. So my mom had to send an email to the law department at American Airlines, and then 2 days later, I finally hear back from corporate security. I get a call from some guy, being like, hey, we've reviewed your case, and we've determined that it most likely was not you, so we're going to take you off the no-fly list until further notice, until we either figure out whether it was actually you or someone else. I asked if they could call me back and tell me what happened once they figure out how I ended up on the no-fly list, and they told me no, because it would be confidential at that point if it wasn't actually me. So I am now off the American Airlines permanent no-fly list, but also out $1,000.
Yeah.
They did refund me the $400 flight that I booked, but said they couldn't send me any more money than that, even though it was their fault that I had to buy that $1,000 round-trip flight.
You got to go small claims court. You got to sue American Airlines in small claims court because she had to buy a last-minute $1,000 ticket on a different airline in order to get to her sister's bachelorette party. Unbelievable.
Ever since you said it wasn't me, I've been trying to put together a nice, parody song because they have the line in there, caught us banging on the bathroom floor. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Say it like Shaggy. If you're going to say it, don't say it like a, uppity white woman. So, MJ.
You had sex and you cannot fly. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah.
A couple seconds ago, you were talking about
Yes.
things your boyfriend
Uh-huh.
should say in the first 3 months.
Uh-huh.
The lovely Mackenzie, what is he? Intern shadower?
Shadower.
Yes, Mackenzie,
She
our
guessed
intern shadower, she did guess that a few minutes ago we had an item that if your boyfriend does not say I love you within 3 months, move on.
I admittedly do not communicate with many women in their younger 20s, lower 20s.
Uh-huh.
However, occasionally I do communicate with one.
Who is that?
I know her.
I'm just going to show you my phone here.
Okay.
You might know her.
Look at
Oh, my daughter, Chloe.
that. Yeah. Look all the way down.
Right.
Look all the way down. Like,
All right.
like a couple of texts up.
What am I looking for?
The last text that came in.
The last text says,
Read two up.
absolutely Chet did. What? Chet, wait,
On the second date?
Your daughter's
Or the-
boyfriend, or maybe in the first 3 months. I don't know.
The first 3 months.
Roxanne had the hillbilly story like, I love you after 16 minutes of meeting, which I can't say I blame him. I mean, look at this. Wow.
hold on a sec.
You work pretty hard to sit in that
So-
seat, don't you?
Hold on, this is news to me. So, Chet, Chloe's, hello, Chloe?
Yes.
Did you send Fester a text that Chet has said he loves you?
Yes.
How long you been dating Chet?
6 months.
Oh my God! And when
6 months today, actually.
Chet tell you that he loved you?
Oh gosh, I don't know, but
I think around the 3-month mark.
Can you pinpoint it a little more?
Oh gosh. Maybe within 3 months.
Why you text Fester this and not me?
I did.
Oh, you did text me? Well, listen, I'm doing a show here. I can't look at all these, texts. I got 30 texts that have come in the last
That's
hour.
why she sent me the text. She knows I'm sitting here playing Wordle and Brick Breaker.
That's right.
I'm just sitting here on my phone playing games.
All right. Thanks for informing me, Chloe.
You're welcome.
Have a lovely day at work.
Okay, bye.
All right. Anyway, I feel bad for this woman. I think that American Airlines should refund her the $1,000. Right? I mean, she had to pay a ridiculous last-minute fare because Americans' mistake kept her off of their flight with an erroneous tagging on their no-fly list, confusing her with somebody else.
Let's picket the ticket stand at Tampa International Airport.
That's disturbing. Hey, you want to hear something else disturbing? This really pisses me off. With the recent weather activity and, of course, the tropical storm that rolled by, I always forget Debbie, right? Debbie. So Tropical Storm Debbie just rolled by. And then, of course, when Debbie passed our latitude, up the coast, turned into a Category 1 and crashed into Steinhatchee. This is terrible. The residents in Sarasota, and I really feel bad for those in Bradenton, Sarasota. You had some flooding also in Pinellas County and some northern counties. But it seems that residents in certain communities in Sarasota had the worst of the flooding. And I saw a piece online on Channel 8's website that the residents in some of these communities in Sarasota, they're taking things out of their house to dry them off, and people are cruising through the neighborhoods and stealing their items that they have like in their yard drying off because of the flooding inside their house.
It is such a nightmare situation for so many folks down in Sarasota County right now. And many of them were not in flood zones. Many of them carried no flood insurance.
We talked about this.
Right.
That you had people in Sarasota that were, and even Manatee, that were flooded out. They were not in a FEMA flood zone. They were not required to have flood insurance. There was one guy that had just canceled his flood insurance because he got a notification or something that he was no longer in a flood zone. But you had people that the area had no history of flooding.
Laurel Meadows neighborhood.
What was it, Andrew?
Laurel Meadows.
Right, so
Laurel Meadows.
Laurel Meadows in Sarasota. Listen to this. These are clips from Channel 8 where people put stuff in the front of their house to dry out, and people driving through and looting and stealing their stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Why would people take other people's stuff out of their yards?
They're taking all our belongings before we were able to get photographs, serial numbers. Yesterday, my son and his friends came over to help us get the stuff out because we had pods coming. And within 10 minutes, they were all outside digging and taking all our stuff.
Who are these cretins? Who are these leeches that are going into these neighborhoods and stealing people? That's Laura Wallace down in, what's the name of the area again, Andrew?
Laurel Meadows.
Laurel Meadows down in Sarasota. This is Jack Morris in Laurel Meadows. Listen to this.
I went to go find my Milwaukee Impact and my socket, my battery operated socket, and my hammer drill, and noticed they're missing along with my Yeti cooler bag.
He claims that people went into his house, like windows and doors were open to drive things out. He claims that's Jack Morris down in Sarasota, that people went in his place and stole his stuff. His Milwaukee Power Tools? My God, who's this? This is, here's the Sarasota Sheriff. This is Sheriff Hoffman down in Sarasota.
We've anecdotally heard a couple cases like that, but we've not actually seen any report of looters that has manifested itself. We've obviously got our road patrol presence in here during the day. I've been in here a couple times already. At night, we fly this area, and with the infrared, we can tell whether somebody's kayaking in, walking in, riding a bicycle in. We can see all of that.
Well, we have two other people that are saying that they were ripped off, so it's clearly. I love those signs. Remember, I remember I first saw the sign after Andrew, Hurricane Andrew was August of 1992. And I had just come to Florida 2 months later. I came to Florida in October of 92. I moved over to West Palm Beach, and I started a morning show on a station in West Palm Beach before the Power Pig hired me in February of 94. And I remember seeing the pictures. People had spray painted on plywood down in Homestead and down in Kendall area where, they were impacted most by Hurricane Andrew. I remember people were spray painting, "You loot, we shoot."
I remember that.
Yep, and I still have that indelibly marked in my mind. But what kind of sicko cretin, what kind of pathetic human scum would drive through these neighborhoods and rip these people off after their lives had just been turned upside down with flooding when they didn't even expect any flooding?
That's brutal.
That's a mess. Anyway, I think we're done with the lesbian American Airlines thing, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh, there was a...
Yeah, we're done with it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No, because I thought I thought there was one other thing. Yeah, she just needs to sue American Airlines.
All right,
yeah,
all right.
and-
We're done
and
with that.
Get our money back. Oh, but there was one. Oh, I know what it was. There was one other American Airlines story that there was a flight from Tampa to Charlotte, and it was an Airbus 321, and this was, I believe, last Thursday.
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah, last week. But I want to make a point here. This is like an MJ Morning Show public service announcement that they hit some clear air turbulence, and 4 flight attendants were tossed, and I guess they were up and around. There was no indication of impending turbulence, and this was a flight, American Airlines, from Tampa to Charlotte last week. 154 passengers, 6 crew members, 4 flight attendants. So all 4 flight attendants were injured and taken to the hospital. So the thing I want to point out here, this was American Airlines flight 2905, Tampa to Charlotte. What I want to point out here is another example of why when you're seated, just have your seatbelt on. Even if the seatbelt sign is not illuminated, look at the door plug that blew out on the Alaska flight. If that doesn't get you to just keep your damn seatbelt on while you're seated, you should. You never know when some clear air turbulence is going to just pop out of nowhere. The pilots don't know about it. There are no reports from aircraft ahead of them, and you just have an incident of clear air turbulence, and it could just throw you for a loop. And in this case, it threw 4 flight attendants for a loop. They must have hit the ceiling and stuff. Do you remember what was that foreign flight? There was a foreign flight.
Oh, the Malaysia one.
About a month ago.
Oh, not that one.
And the cabin was like wrecked. People were thrown there was one guy that was thrown into an overhead bin. That's how, seriously, there was video of them helping a guy out of the bin. He was hurled into the overhead bin. I'm like, what the heck? Wow. The more you know here on the MJ Morning Show.
Yeah,
so
thanks for that little PSA on seatbelts.
Yeah. Make sure you just keep your damn seatbelt on while you're seated so you don't get tossed around.
Don't get too worried about cases of, what do you call it again? Clear air turbulence. Because it doesn't, most cases, I'm reading online, most cases are harmless. But there are rare cases where cabin crew and passengers on aircraft have been injured.
Wow, what does herpes and clear air turbulence have in common?
All right. People are nuts. All right. I'm moving along here. People are nuts. Did you see the video that I posted along the Howard? I brought this up, I think, a couple of days ago, but it's got like 35,000 views now, and people are commenting that this video is going somewhat viral. What do you have? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Andrew has a passenger that was on the flight that just called in. All right, hang on. Let me grab Kara, and then I'll talk about this video that I posted. And some people are nuts. I'll explain in a second. It's a live show. We never know what's going to pop up. All right, Kara was on the American Airlines flight from Tampa to Charlotte last week. Kara, was it last Thursday?
Hey, good morning. Yes, it was Thursday. It was about a 5:30 flight.
All right, so you were on the flight. All right, so Kara, what happened?
It's totally unexpected. We had reached our cruising altitude, and the skies were, it was nice and smooth. We'd already had our drink service, and then just out of the blue, bam, we dropped really hard, and then we came up, and then dropped really hard again, and then came up, and then started descending very quickly.
Wow.
It just was out of the blue.
Were the passengers, were there gasps or were there any screams in the cabin?
There were no screams. There were more gasps because there was no warning. It was more shocking and stunning than it was scary.
That's what clear air turbulence will do. Now, Kara, did you have your seatbelt on?
I did. Yeah, thank goodness.
Did you see any of the flight attendants go flying?
I didn't. I was more towards the front of the plane. I was in row 9, so that happened in the back. My guess was they were still on their feet during doing, drink service or what have you. But what they had us do is remain on the plane at the gate, and paramedics met us at the gate, and they ran on the plane. I only saw one flight attendant be ushered off, and she did have a head injury. It was wrapped. Her head was wrapped, but she did clearly have a head injury.
Oh, wow, that's too bad. Wow. And then did American Airlines do anything else for the passengers, or you got off the plane and then you went about your business?
I got an email the next day. They awarded us some miles, 5,000 miles.
How many miles?
5,000.
Not enough for a ticket, but all right. At least, listen, you're alive and you weren't injured. Was that the first crazy experience like that you've ever had on a commercial flight?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had bad turbulence, but it was just violent turbulence.
Were you scared? Did it go through your mind, oh my God, is this it?
After.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, Kara, thanks for listening. I guess you're an MJ Morning Show listener.
I have been for a long time. South Tampa resident, yes.
Well, thank you, Kara. If you ever see me out and about, make sure you say hi if I'm, in Publix or Trader Joe's or something, okay?
Will do. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you, Kara. Look at that. Just listening to the show, and she was on that American Airlines flight last Thursday from Tampa to Charlotte. 4 flight attendants injured. All right, back over to my story. Watch, I'll get interrupted again. A second passenger will call in. All right, no, so this is hysterical. Well, it's funny, but it's a little annoying. I posted this video last week on my Instagram. Yes, Andrew.
I just wanted to interrupt.
Oh, so I posted this video on my Instagram last week, and it is 1, 2, 3. It's the 4th video. So the top row has 3 tiles, and it's the first tile on the second row. And you'll see what appears to be roadway and piles of white stuff. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about this, what? Was it last week?
It was Friday.
Friday, we talked about this. I was driving home on the Howard Franklin Bridge. This was last week before they opened all 4 lanes back up again. This was still when the 2 lanes were shut down because of the washout on the Tampa side from Tropical Storm Debbie. So we were down to 2 lanes, and traffic was a crawl. I'm leaving the show last week, and it's like 10:10. It took me an extra 20 minutes to get home because the bridge was all jammed up. I'm going 2 miles an hour, and I took out my phone and I recorded on the side of the road, lane 1, the far left lane, Howard Franklin, 275 north. There was a half mile of white powder, and it looked like snow. It's like you're in the Northeast or out in Colorado or something, and, it's the snow melt, but you still have, the roads are clear, but you still have little piles of snow on the side of the road, and that's what it looked like. So I roll video. Professor, reset it and then bring up the audio.
Okay.
All right. So I roll video on this, and I'm going very slow. Listen. On the Howard Franklin, weather's been nuts here. Look at this. We have snow. We have snow on the side of the road. Snow on the side of the road in the middle of August on the Howard Franklin Bridge northbound. Freaking snow. Unbelievable. What's going on? Clearly, I'm joking. I'm being facetious. I'm even playing Let It Snow in the background on this thing.
In August in Florida.
Exactly. Yeah. It's 90 degrees outside. There's no freaking snow on the Howard Franklin Bridge. I'm shooting a funny joke video, and most people get it. If you haven't seen the video, it's on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. Go to Certified MJ Radio and see the video. It's the 4th item on my feed right now. And give me a follow if you want while you're there. So the comments are still coming in, and this thing's got a ton of views so far. Let me see where I'm at. This video has 37,600 views.
We're all really proud of you.
That's not what I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I'm just pointing out.
You know what?
So
I know you weren't looking for it. We're still giving it.
Look at this. This guy comments, "Not real snow, buddy."
Not real snow.
Well, hang on. I think I did. Hold on. And then it says, see replies. I clicked on it, and Fester, what did I respond to that guy?
Duh!
I did. I responded, duh. But, I mean, come on. These people.
It's not really snow, MJ. It's not really possible. The temperatures in Florida, just the average temperatures is too hot in August.
I mean, who's taking me seriously here? It's joke. It's. Hey, I hate to tell you, but that's not real snow.
Sorry to disappoint you, sir.
And then
Didn't it snow in Tampa in like late 1970s?
I think it was like 1979, 77,
77, 79, whatever. In January,
oh, yeah,
in February,
January.
just in the winter.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was a little dusting of snow in like 1977 or 78 in Tampa. Here's Rosebud says, not snow. I'm like, duh.
Thank you, Rosebud. Thank you. You're quite the meteorologist.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I know. I mean, I'm being facetious. And then some people are like, does anyone have a sense of humor here? It is a joke. And then someone calls me an effing idiot.
Okay.
Somebody called me an effing idiot.
Two things can be true at once. It cannot be snow, and you can be that.
And I can still be an effing idiot, right?
What was it? I thought it was like some kind of packing material that fell off a truck. Yeah. Somebody else said it's salt, which I don't know if that didn't make sense.
Some people was, that's foam from Tropical Storm Debbie. No, it's not. It was styrofoam. It was like shredded styrofoam.
So that means all that's in the bay now.
It was styrofoam dust. Like if you go to a craft store, you can buy the packages of like shredded styrofoam that has the consistency of snow. That's what it was. So somehow some bags must have fallen off a truck and it all got pushed to the left shoulder. And that's what it was. I looked out the window like, oh, man, because my dad was in the styrofoam business. Folks, do you realize that I could be the styro king of Virginia? Actually, my dad's company, they were like the second largest fabricator of styrofoam.
No. The old man sold at the right time.
In the country.
It's all made in China now.
Yeah. So my dad sold the company back in 2000. But my parents wanted my brother and me to go into the family business. And I'm like, I don't want to be in the styrofoam business. I want to be on the radio. I want to be yakking into a microphone. My brother became a plastic surgeon. Yep. You know, we wanted nothing to do with the business. But my dad was a huge styrofoam fabricator. His products were in all the big stores, in Walmart and all the craft stores and Michael's. And
my styrofoam balls are everywhere.
Guess what?
That could be you.
My dad's balls were all over the country.
All over.
Yes, they were. No, seriously. So when a kid makes like the solar system project and you get the white styrofoam balls, my dad was fabricating that crap, or the styrofoam cones, or the wreaths that people, jam the artificial flowers in. My dad was making that crap.
9 out of 10 old ladies prefer my balls over anybody else's at the Michael's Arts and Crafts.
Anybody else? Yes.
I have a story for you about people not taking you too seriously on IG. So over the weekend, we took the kids to dinner. They wanted to go to this place. They love it. But, they serve yellowtail Cabernet. And so I started thinking, I would love to go there.
So does 7-Eleven.
Right. Yeah. Right.
For $6.99 a bottle.
And I'm like, I want to take, we're going to take the kids to this restaurant.
Who's serving yellowtail Cabernet at
what restaurant?
I can't remember if it was yellowtail, but it was something of that ilk, right?
Okay, what restaurant?
And I'm thinking, okay, I want to take the kids. We're going to go there. But gosh, wouldn't it be great if I could bring my own bottle of wine and pay a corking fee? And so I said, why is it that like
corkage
fee? Thank you.
Yeah.
Or corking, but I like corkage
No,
better.
it's not corking. It's corkage.
A corking fee is something completely different.
Or maybe your server will be Corky from that TV show.
So I'm saying to myself, why is it that the fancy restaurants allow for you to bring your own bottle and pay the corkage fee? And when they already have great selections of wine, but like these other restaurants, they don't allow you to bring your own bottle. And I said something to that effect on my IG page. And I was like, like, why can't we just bring wine to McDonald's, bring our own bottle to McDonald's? And the number of people who replied to me that it's because McDonald's doesn't have a liquor license, I'm like, I know that. It's just there's
Right.
sometimes that would be strange to go through life like that, where you took everything that you see
So literally.
Yeah.
I was getting really frustrated yesterday. This is about 2:00 yesterday, and I since found out that there was a problem, obviously, because it did work later last night. I was trying to get on to my Gmail account on my laptop.
Oh.
This is like 2:00 yesterday afternoon, and I had a bunch of little business things to do, so I needed to get onto my Gmail account, and I couldn't get on. I could not get on my Gmail account. My Gmail was opened on my phone, so I was able to have access, but on my laptop, I couldn't sign on to Gmail. I have the two-factor authentication, so when I sign on the computer, then it activates, and you got to push the little button, yes, it's me, from Google that goes to my phone, and that was all frigged up yesterday. So Google must have had a problem. I'm like, because initially, your mind starts racing, man, I can't get in. What's going on? And then you get the little notice, too many attempts, you've now been blocked out of your account. I'm like, have I been hacked? So I immediately, start searching, is Google Gmail down? Down detectors, what's going on here? And I had nothing really. There was a little bit of a spike on the down detector for Google, but I couldn't determine whether it was Google search or Gmail. But then I did see last night that Google, Gmail, and YouTube users were unable to access accounts yesterday because of an outage. I'm like, yep, that was me. And of course, your mind wanders in this day and age. Your mind wanders. Oh my God, have I been hacked? And my passwords for my important accounts, or really any account, I've got ridiculous passwords. Capital, lowercase, capital, number, symbol, capital. I've got some crazy freaking passwords that no one's going to figure out. You can get one of those, hacker computers that are, churning out, 37,000 possibilities a second, and they're not going to figure out my password. Just not going to happen. All right, so I'm thinking of the worst, though. Oh, my God, I've been hacked. Do you know how many times in the last 2 years that I've gotten a notification from like a hospital, a doctor, some company that my data has been breached? Seriously.
You want an exact number?
No, I'm being hypothetically here.
56.
No, listen, it's a lot. I'm telling you right now, in the last probably year and a half, I must have 6 notifications that my information was part of a data breach. The fact that I've any money in my bank account is just amazing at this point.
I literally don't even care about the information anymore. So many people have it that I've been associated with breaches, from hospitals to credit cards to banks to you name it.
It is insane. I've got like a pile of letters, and I save the letters. And you'll be provided with free credit monitoring if you want. Luckily, and I do have credit monitoring. I had LifeLock because I did LifeLock commercials for a number of years on my syndicated afternoon talk show. And with that, they gave me LifeLock. And I'll tell you what, that thing works. It has any time that anyone inquires on your credit, or it always pops up, I get the alerts. So it is absolutely, but I've had no issues. Wilma, knock on wood, hopefully it stays this way. But I have been, and I'm sure many of you are in the same boat as me. How many times have you been notified in the last couple of years that some business, some place that you've either had, credit services or any kind of business, cell phone companies, hospitals, doctors, that there's been a a data breach.
Last week, didn't we have one about the security company?
ADT.
Yeah. Their job is security.
ADT was hacked.
Great.
Yeah, you have the security companies getting hacked. I mean, there's been a whole series of these stories, and to me, it's just miraculous that my identity. And you get these letters, your full name, social security number, address, phone number. But I mean,
it's gone.
The fact that I haven't been hacked yet, and listen, I'm not hoping for it, but it's truly incredible. I'm just amazed at this. So I mean, I was thinking of the worst yesterday. That, oh my God, I've been hacked. But it was just Gmail. They had some kind of a glitch that shut them down for about an hour or two yesterday. And then last night, I said, all right, let me give it another whirl. And everything just signed on. And then I stumbled across a story. Users were unable to access Google and its services for around an hour this afternoon, locking them out of some of the world's most popular online tools. Other sites run by parent company Alphabet, including Gmail and YouTube, also experienced difficulties. Yep. Down Detector, which monitors website outages, indicated that there were issues.
Oh, that's a real site, Down Detector?
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard you mention it, but I didn't know what it was.
What do you think? I pulled that out of my butt? You
thought
think I made it up?
I thought it was some nerdy word you use.
No.
Down Detector.
No, there's a website called Down Detector.
I've never heard it. I heard you say it, but I thought it was like some nerd thing.
Yeah. So problems appeared shortly after 2 p.m., resulting in a sharp spike in reports about 20 minutes later. So I must have checked it early before it really started spiking on Down Detector. But I was in the middle of that outage, and I'm sure many of you were as well. There is a big difference between taking a trip to Buc-ee's and tripping at Buc-ee's.
Dude, you want to talk about a good time on both fronts.
What are you going to trip on at Buc-ee's? Not something in the aisle, right?
I thought of Fester because, Fester is the king of cheap vacations and family getaways.
I got my Buc-ee's mug today, man.
Look at this. Fester, hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, right there.
Andrew, grab Fester's camera, will you please?
I can't believe you still haven't been to one.
I have not. Well, I drove by.
One, yeah. They're all over the interstate system across the southeast.
I drove by a Buc-ee's at like 11 o'clock at night on the way from San Antonio to Houston.
Let's do that over Labor Day, dude.
What road was that? I-10? Maybe it might have been 10.
10 cuts right through Texas.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I thought it was like a nuclear bomb explosion. That's how bright that thing was at 11 o'clock at night.
Dude, there's one within like 2 hours from here.
I'm not driving to a...
Well, let's do something else. We could go to the Buc-ee's, though.
Folks, Fester will say, hey, kids, we're going to have fun this weekend. And he'll load the kids into the car and drive to the Buc-ee's in
Daytona. You say it like I'm the only one, MJ. I bet you can fill up phone lines with people who would say that is an awesome day trip.
There is no one that's... you know what? I'll test it. I'll go to phones right now.
Go.
Folks, have you in the Tampa Bay area gotten in your car, loaded the family up for a road trip to Buc-ee's in Daytona?
You spend the night. You go there again for breakfast.
Where else are the locations?
In Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
I think there's only 2 right now, St. Augustine and then Daytona.
And they're supposed to open up Ocala, right?
Ocala's being built, and I heard there's going to be one in Smyrna?
New Smyrna.
Yeah, I heard
Shark bite capital of the state, right?
So,
so here's the deal.
But there's one out just near Macon, Georgia. So if you went up 75, you'd see one. There's one northwest of Georgia.
Folks, have you ever gotten in the car just to drive to Buc-ee's here in Florida as a weekend getaway?
MJ doesn't understand how awesome the place is. Call it and at least give some...
We'll have listeners that were driving by, and no one is making Buc-ee's their destination for a trip other than you.
You have no idea how cool of a place it is.
800-990-1047. Go to the phones right now, folks. If you have taken a trip to Buc-ee's just to go to Buc-ee's, 800-990-1047. This is a convenience store with like 112 gas pumps.
Shut your face. It is not a convenience store. It is a national
lifestyle.
treasure. Yeah, really. It is amazing. Roxanne, have you ever been to one?
I have not.
They have a wall of apparently 12,000 varieties of beef jerky.
Who are you people?
Don't they ring a bell for brisket?
They do all kinds of crap.
I'm intrigued by these beaver nuggets.
They have it's life-changing stuff.
All right, Mackenzie, our shadower, have you been to a Buc-ee's?
Of course I have.
Where?
Up in Atlanta.
Yeah, there's one northwest of Atlanta, I think.
Like in Dalton, Georgia or something?
You buy your rugs and you can get some beaver nuggets.
Where that genius lady's from?
Things every time I go back up to school, we got to make a stop at Buc-ee's.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. So you're familiar with Buc-ee's.
Of course.
And what is your favorite part about Buc-ee's?
Oh, the beaver nuggets.
Oh, what the hell aren't they like corn puffs or something?
It's corn. It's like hard glazed corn puffs.
What food group are they in?
Crap.
Starch.
I feel like they're in one of Buddy the Elf's food groups.
Yeah, I mean it's like a candied corn puff.
Every line is lit.
MG, why don't we got 3 days off coming up at the end of the month? Let's go.
I'm not taking a road trip just to Buc-ee's.
You get a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton. I'll be right next door to La Quinta. We'll go to Buc-ee's.
Guess what? There's no Ritz-Carlton in New Smyrna, okay?
In Daytona, there's probably something pretty bougie.
All right, listen. I haven't even gotten to the story yet. So my little cute setup was there's a big difference in taking a trip to a Buc-ee's versus tripping at a Buc-ee's.
I can't think of any place I'd rather be high than a Buc-ee's. I mean, not driving, of course, but
here's the deal. The big Buc-ee mascot, the beaver, I guess they have inflatable ones.
They have inflatable ones. They have actual plush characters.
Here's the story.
Like furry Buc-ee's.
A man who tripped over a rope holding down Buc-ee's large inflatable beaver in Florence County, South Carolina, is suing Buc-ee's because he sustained serious injuries after the fall.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's terrible.
So they got this big, giant inflatable beaver, and they have, ropes tying it down with spikes in the ground? The guy tripped over the rope and went flying and busted his face.
When you said tripping, I was thinking, a really good time.
Oh, on shrooms or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Robert E. Brown of Kershaw County was walking on the sidewalk when he tripped over a rope that was running from the base of the Buc-ee's inflatable beaver mascot to an anchor point. The complaint says that Brown sustained several injuries, most notably to his right shoulder. Again, big difference, taking a trip to Buc-ee's and taking a trip at Buc-ee's. So this guy's suing. All right, let me go to phones. Every single phone line has been illuminated here. There's no one going just to Buc-ee's for a trip.
Dude, people are sending me via text pictures of their kids in front of the
beaver
statue.
Hey, kids, we're closed for renovations.
Okay, it doesn't sound like Wally Moose or whatever that.
April in Palm Harbor. April, hi, you're on the MJ Morning Show.
Hi, good morning. Yes, my husband and I did take a special trip a couple years ago on a weekend to the Daytona Beach location. We'd never been, and I was curious, and we went. That was our first stop, took pictures, had barbecue brisket sandwiches, which were phenomenal. The bathrooms are incredible. Anybody that knows Buc-ee's knows the bathrooms are amazing.
I heard that you can drop the brisket sandwich on the floor in the bathroom and eat it right off the floor.
I mean, nobody's going to stop you.
You can.
That it's that clean.
They're amazing. Yeah. And then we ended up taking a tour of the Daytona Speedway just off the cuff. We just ended up doing that. We made a little weekend trip out of it.
All right, so was it worth 2 hours to Daytona and then 2 hours back?
Yes, it was, because we discovered how great Buc-ee's is. So if we ever pass one on the highway, we always stop. Absolutely.
Right. How far is Daytona? What, 2.5 hours? 2.5 hours?
Yeah, just about. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was worth it, especially for a first-timer. It's overwhelming how much stuff they really have.
Well,
so it's pretty cool the first time.
Thank you, April. All right, I said every line is illuminated. Bob in Temple Terrace. We'll talk to Bob. Hey, Bob.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Yes. We have passes to the Walt Disney World, and we'll go over there, and we'll get so bored of Disney. We're like, let's go to Buc-ee's.
That's right.
So we'll take off.
You know what? This whole of President sucks. Let's go to Buc-ee's.
Exactly. So we pay big money to go to Disney World, but then Buc-ee's is the new Disney.
That's hysterical.
All right, Bob, thank you. Wendy's in Clearwater. Hey, Wendy, you're on the MJ Morning Show.
Hello.
Are you the Wendy from Clearwater that called yesterday?
Yes, I'm the one that called last week too with the flying fudge deal.
Oh yeah, well listen, thank you for being a regular. I do appreciate it. Go ahead, Wendy.
No problem. I actually never been there, but my husband stopped there on the way back from Georgia, and he brought me back a Buc-ee Beaver cell phone holder.
That's
He
awesome.
hands it to me. It's like a stuffed animal. And I said, what is this? Is it for the dogs? He goes, oh, it holds your cell phone. I went, oh. So when he every morning.
A furry beaver cell phone holder?
Yes.
Sounds like a porno.
So he listens to his phone, the news every morning, and he has his cell phone laying up against his glass. So I reach over and I hand him. I said, here, rest your phone on my beaver.
Yeah, so he's got his furry beaver phone on vibrate.
Wendy, I don't think you need to call in 3 times a week.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
listening,
it.
though. Maybe some calls you just don't need to make, Wendy.
Edward and Ruskin. Leave Wendy alone.
Yeah, we love her, but still.
Edward and Ruskin. Hi, Edward.
Self-edit.
Yeah, MJ. I used to live in Texas. I wouldn't even drive 5 minutes to a Buc-ee's.
Why not?
Not only that, they're not trucker friendly.
They're not trucker friendly.
really?
There's no semis in there. You're right.
Wait. So Buc-ee's doesn't want truckers?
They want families who are traveling. They want travelers, not semi-truck drivers. It's not a truck stop.
I pulled into a Buc-ee's and the manager came out yelling and saying,
Hold on, the guy yelled at you to get your truck out of here?
yeah.
Yeah, well, you have an axe to grind, Edward.
Wow.
Try driving by in a minivan and you'll love it.
Uh,
All right. Well, no. Why would they want truckers in there?
Because
truckers have money.
It's a different vibe. It's not what they're going for.
All right. Thank you, Edward.
Truckers go to Love's.
All
Go
right,
to TA.
Let me grab JC in Tampa. JC, MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hey, we drove all the way over to Buc-ee's to get a fire pit.
Yeah, they got all kinds of cool stuff.
You can buy like camping equipment there?
You can buy barbecue.
We bought a fire pit for the yard, and then the other trip I got to tell Fester is Russell Stouffer's Candy Outlet Factory up in Wildwood. We do that a day trip too for the kids.
I've never been there before.
And we call
Well, hold on. What did you call it?
Russell Stover's.
Hold on. No. Let him say it. What did you call it?
Russell Stouffer's.
No. It's Stover. Stouffer's is the French bread pizza. Stover's is the chocolate.
I just wanted to see if you would catch that.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I want to go to the French bread pizza factory.
I want chocolate covered French bread pizza.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, JC, thanks for the call, man. 2 more, and I got to move on. Look at every line has lit up and is refilling. Jan in Brooksville. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Jan, would you drive on vacation to Buc-ee's?
Yes, we put Buc-ee's into Waze as our starting point. Every time we go anywhere, we put them in as our starting point. And my husband puts me on a timer.
Even if you're going in the exact opposite direction?
What do you mean?
We're going to Naples, but we're going to put the Buc-ee's in St. Augustine as our starting point.
Shut up. No.
Thank you. Thank you, Jan.
Well, and so then my husband puts me on a timer, and I have 20 minutes.
Oh, you.
And if I am not back out of that store in 20 minutes, he leaves without me.
He leaves without you.
You know what? 2 things. 1, I don't know how you can do that store in 20 minutes. 2, I can't think of a better place to be left.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Well, I know. There's that. But I've got the place mapped out, so I know exactly where all the home goods are. I know exactly where all the dog stuff is. I know exactly where the treats are that I want to get. I've got it mapped out, so I have a little route that I go through.
Look at you.
20 minutes.
Best call of the week so far. Shut up. Hey, thank you, Jan.
Can we get that as a drop? I'm going to
Have
play
a great
Jan
one.
anytime.
One last
Get
call
online.
here. One last call. Doreen, MJ Morning Show. Hey, Doreen.
Good morning. Me and my family are known to travel to Buc-ee's. My sister lives in Texas, and we drive 3 to 4 hours to go to a new Buc-ee's to see what's different from the other ones that we've been to, and I've been to 20 of them.
Wow.
Look at that. Thank you, Doreen. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm telling you, Labor Day weekend, MJ, let's drive over like on, Saturday or maybe Friday evening. We'll drive over, spend all day Saturday there. Be a good time.
We've got a couple of radio guys that are in trouble for fat shaming women at Disney. They happen to work for our company. Now, I have not seen any edict that we can't talk about this story, but
It's not us, is it?
no, it's not us. No, we're not fat shaming women at Disney.
No, just Fester.
We fat shame men around here.
No, I saw this story about plus size Disney influencers getting body shamed by radio hosts. I'm like, what radio hosts are body shaming larger women that are Disney influencers on their show? And it's like, oops, it's a company-owned station up in Boston.
I mean, I might give that show a listen.
Listen to this.
I might do a web post on this.
Sounds like my kind of humor.
Listen to this. A group of plus-size Disney park influencers based in Massachusetts were relentlessly teased for their weight by a Boston sports radio show. They were calling them fatzos.
Okay.
The smirking host also cracked jokes about going dumpster diving for day-old food at the park and crassly suggested the group could sit in the water like seals to be fed fish.
Sounds like Boston radio, doesn't it?
My God. I don't know much about Boston radio. I once was almost hired by Z94 in Boston back in the day. Hosts Fred Toucher. Is he a toucher?
Oh, it's Toucher and... Okay, continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hosts Fred... I've never heard of these guys.
The guy's name is Toucher?
Toucher and Rich.
They work... Rob. Yeah. So they work for our company. Hosts Fred Toucher and Rob Hardy Poole of 98.5 The Sports Hub. Oh, that's WBZ up there. They've come under fire for the vile commentary made about the five ladies who run plus-size park hoppers. Hey, Andrew, you're everything Disney. Have you heard about the plus-size park hoppers?
I have not.
So they were making fun of these ladies during the show. One of the quintuplet, one of the five, Stephanie Lanciani, called out the Toucher and Hardy show. They previously were criticized for gross comments on NBA legend Bill Walton.
What did they say about Bill Walton?
They bashed Bill Walton for something.
Okay,
and
great.
then one of the hosts had to apologize and said that their words were vile and disgusting.
Our words were vile and disgusting. All right.
Hi, we're Fred Toucher and Rob Hardy.
If you ever
Hi.
want to hear an apology you know not to believe, listen to a radio show host apology. Our words were insensitive, and we are very sorry.
Yeah, the company's tight-lipped on this. They're like, we'll probably get in trouble for talking about this.
Okay.
We'll probably get reprimanded. Hey, if I'm not here tomorrow, I either got fired or suspended for talk. What are these guys thinking?
What they made?
I mean, listen. Fester fat shames himself.
What?
I'll drop a Fester joke, but Fester opens the door and invites him.
Just because you can use my shirt as a tarp to cover a house after the roof got ripped off.
There is no way that I'm going to fat shame five large ladies that run a Disney influencer blog or whatever the hell they do.
I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, with those ladies, it's certainly not a small world. Because they're making kind of fun of themselves being large and in charge influencers. But to say dumpster diving and
listen, I'm guessing that Toucher and Hardy or whatever the hell, I'm guessing these guys are not geniuses.
I'm happy with my Boston radio information because I was correct. It was Toucher and Rich for a long time.
Okay.
And Rich left the show just, out of nowhere in November.
Dude, I would have to leave the show if I worked with a guy named Toucher every day.
Is Toucher touching Rob Hardy Poole during the entire show? Is he like reaching under and fondling him underneath the counter?
So Rob, what do you have to say about the Celtics?
Let me touch you. I'm gonna touch you while you're talking.
Hey, Rob, how about you break down the Patriots secondary while I rub your thigh?
I think I'm feeling a lump down there.
If my name was Toucher, I'd name it to Touche. I'd change it to Touche.
I want to touch your touche.
Yes, I don't know if
even worse.
I don't know if this is going to blow up or I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. But I saw a story in the New York Post. New York Post is talking about two guys doing sports radio that work for our company, making fun of large ladies that are like this well-known Disney quintuplet.
That's not good.
That's not a very smart move.
I want to meet up with those ladies and go to Disney with them. They know where to eat.
8:50.
They do. They know all the good food.
Okay.
Listen, you don't want to go with a skinny influencer? Respect.
All right, 8:51 at the MJ Morning Show. That's it. The end of an hour and 20 minutes plus sized MJ Morning Show.
Don't say plus size right after we get done with that story. Come on, man. You're begging to be canceled.
All right. So when we get back, the 9 o'clock hour begins. That ends an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ. When we return, we're pretty packed here. I've got the ugly truth about a couple of things. So the ugly truth. What do you think I'm talking about? The ugly truth is coming up next. Also, if you give your kid a tablet at this age, you are asking for some serious freaking trouble. Oh, and if you buy the generic version of Mucinex at certain stores, cancer. All right, man, there's a lot of reasons, to keep listening. All right, hang on. That's just scratching the surface. Back in minutes here on the MJ Morning Show. Let's. 905 MJ and a crew here on 104.7 FM. As always, please spread the word. The best MJ Morning Show entertainment is available weekdays, Monday through Friday from 6 to 10 a.m. And there are still plenty of people don't know we're back, believe it or not. It's amazing how many people listen, but how many people still don't know that we are an option to get them out of their droll, tedious routine. Yep. Spread the word. The MJ Morning Show's back. 9:05, and I have the ugly truth, which I shall now reveal. Apparently, less attractive people live shorter lives than those that are determined to be better looking.
I completely agree with that.
Okay, and why is that?
I'm not a very good-looking person. And I can't wait to die.
You think your mortality clock is just tick, 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 ticking?
It's one of the few things I have to look forward to is sweet death.
You know, when you
What the hell are you rambling
Yeah.
about?
When you get to know someone, they just, however they look, you can't even see it. You can't even judge if they're, like when I look at photos of you or video of you on MJTV, I'm like, Buster looks cute today. Like, I don't have a barometer because I know you so well. And it's just based on if you're being nice and funny, then I think you look cute. If you're being snarky and mean, then I think you're not as cute.
Oh, thanks.
I don't know what the hell that
think?
means.
Want to make out?
All right. So, I don't know if this is scientific. Well, I guess there's researchers I did some type of research here. So this is Arizona State University.
Apparently, ugly people are dropping dead all over Arizona.
Well, here's the deal. Listen, any research that comes out of ASU, do you really? I mean, that's like one of the top party schools. Everyone's drunk there.
It's true. That's true.
Everyone at ASU is drunk or stoned out of their mind.
I love it when I meet someone who graduated from ASU and I'm like, oh, you like the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So, they got like zero education there.
Yeah. They can't even read.
But I'm kidding around. I'm joking. But
it is a party school. We're not joking about that.
That's not a joke. Arizona State University is I think usually the top party school in the country.
Which is fun.
I think it's like 40 years running now.
You do a lot of that. Yeah, you do a lot of that in college.
Yeah. Researchers from Arizona State University, also the University of Texas at Austin, they looked at data from a long study that tracked more than 8,300 Wisconsin high school students from 1957 until their older age or death in 2022. And alongside a lifetime of health data, they also collected yearbook photos and tasked independent arbiters to rate their attractiveness. We had something similar to this recently. Or we had maybe a different offshoot of the same study, but I don't remember those two schools, though. Those in the bottom sextile for attractiveness were 16.8% more likely to have died than those in the middle four rankings. So those to be determined with their high school yearbook photos to be less attractive back then didn't live as long or were 16.8% more likely to have died.
I have so many problems with this study. I mean, did they tell people that they were part of this study? We're picking you based on your low tier that you fell into in the looks department. We have bad news for you. You're going to die young.
But
You're not
also,
young, but earlier.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
And it's also in your, especially you guys, you can get away with a lot because it's your swagger, it's your charisma. I hate that word, riz.
The riz, it's your
I don't
riz.
like that. So charisma.
Hey, look at all the hot chicks that Lyle Lovett got.
Yeah, one.
Well, Pete Davis is the modern day example.
Oh, yeah, Pete Davidson.
Davidson.
Yeah. I don't know who Pete Davis is.
Oh, Pete Davis works at the sub shop.
He's a very ugly man.
And he's
very ugly man, but he's bringing in hot women.
He works at Jimmy John's on Kennedy.
Part-time, but he works at Woody's Car Wash the other part-time. And he knocks them down. He lines them up and knocks them. He's a stud.
Listen, you see these studies, and there are so many of these studies have become clickbait. And like the biggest offender is that Study Finds website.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of paid research or companies that hire some kind of research or fringy company to do some research in order for them to put out a press release and get all kinds of free press. Oh, new study says this. Anyway, we could do this show from end to end. We could do this show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday, and just do things off of the Study Finds website of every day. They put up like 100 new studies, it seems.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
I gotta be honest. I mean, some of them are interesting, but there's just a lot of clickbait out there.
You know, my doctor hates me. My GP hates me because I'll go into her and I'll say, "Oh, I heard this, I heard that," and she's like, "No, we can't treat that yet, or they don't have a way to test for that." And then so the next time I go, I show up with my packet of printouts from Study Finds, and I say,
God.
"Oh yes, yes, there is a test for it."
You're that patient.
I read it. There's a test for it.
There are doctors that fire patients.
Yeah, maybe I'm next. Maybe I'm on the chopping block.
Hey, listen, we know a hairstylist that fires customers that are a pain in the ass.
Well, listen, either you're going to fire them or they're going to fire you. Why not be the one who breaks up with them?
Yeah, it all ends eventually.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of looks, I thought this was interesting that there are some women that are flaunting what they call ugly privilege. So on the same, kind of looks thing here, there are these women on social media that are saying they have something called ugly privilege and they love it. Do you know what ugly privilege is, and why do these women that admit they're not attractive, why do they love it?
Oh man,
Fester, take a guess quickly. Hurry.
I don't know. What?
Come on.
Pity? People feel bad for him?
No.
They look like he got kicked in the face by a horse.
Hold it.
I'm trying to think. You said ugly privilege.
Are you even processing what I'm saying?
No, because I can't process ugly privilege. I've been ugly my whole life. I have no privilege.
Listen to me. These women,
they love their ugly privilege.
They love their ugly privilege, and they love it for a particular reason. Do you know what that reason could be? You don't. All right, moving along. All right, Roxanne, do you have any idea?
People take them seriously.
You know what? You're getting warmer.
Okay.
You're getting warmer.
People give them credit for accomplishing things and saying that it doesn't have anything to do with their looks.
Listen, maybe you weren't warm. You're just a lot better than what Fester's garbage was.
I deliberately go on
warm by comparison.
I deliberately try not to talk to ugly people.
Hey, let me ask our shadower Mackenzie here. You like Mac? What do people call you?
I like Kens and Kenzie a lot.
Kens?
Kens and Kenzie.
Kens and Kenzie.
Hello, Kens.
You know, there's a famous TV station, KENZ.
Oh, perfect.
You can get a job at You can be Kens at KENZ. Where is K? Is that in San Antonio, Texas?
Kens.
Look, it might be Channel 5, San Antonio, Texas. CBS, KENZ. Where's that located?
KENZ. It's in Houston.
Where is that?
Houston?
No, that's a restaurant, you idiot.
Oh.
Did
you know that?
It's a KENZ TV.
KENS.
Oh,
KENZ.
Yeah, where's KENZ? Yeah, KENS is Houston.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's San Antonio. Anyway, so back over to Ken's here. Do you have any idea why these social media plain Janes are proudly flaunting their ugly privilege, and they like it for a certain reason?
I feel like it's because they don't feel threatened, or like they won't be walking on the street and feel like they'll be kidnapped or something.
You know what? That's the best answer so far.
All right. I like it. Oh, they're not fearful of sex slavery.
No, here. What, getting pulled into a white van and then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here's the deal. These women say that they are thrilled that men don't look at them. They don't want to be oogled. They don't want to be harassed. They don't want to be undressed with guys' eyes. So that's what these women are saying, that they're celebrating their average looks. They're celebrating their plain Janeness. So these plain Janers, they've sort of called it ugly privilege, and they're happy they can just go about their business and guys just leave them alone. Any thoughts on this, Roxanne?
I mean, it sounds great.
All right, here's one of the women is Sarah. And Sarah says, and she posted this video and it's kind of gone viral. Sarah in the video says, what I mean by that is that men in general don't find me attractive. For the most part, men think I'm ugly and they leave me alone. And to me, that's a privilege.
Okay, Hobbit.
So,
listen, sure.
Stop.
Tell your therapist.
All right, so Roxanne and Ken's, let me pose this question to you. Would you rather be attractive and have men pay a lot of attention to you, or be unattractive and just be left alone?
What a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Fester did just a few moments ago before we got into this story reference making out with me.
What?
So
No, you.
What?
Yes.
She said that she judges my attraction by my attitude that day, and I said, "Hey,
let's make out."
you want to make out?"
He did.
I missed that.
I heard it.
All right.
Yeah, he did.
All right.
Okay, so does that mean that, I'm not going to put myself in a category. I'm going to put myself in a category as, regular person. But if I was in the ugly category by whatever standards, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, would I not get that comment from Fester? I think I still would.
Yeah, for me,
I think I still would.
I'm pretty equal opportunity. I line those uglies up.
Ken's, where are you on this?
Yeah, Ken's.
I think I'd prefer the former. I think I'd prefer to be on the attractive side, and I'm okay with the attention sometimes.
Honest answer. Honest answer.
All right,
Good
so
answer.
You want to be attractive and have people look at you and have men look at you.
I think I don't mind it.
All right. So there you go. Listen, there's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of people out there. Different boats, different floats. You know the whole deal. So, or let me pose one last thing before I move on. Are they making an excuse for their unattractiveness? Do you think it's just a front, just to psychologically deal with the fact that they're unattractive?
I think we're focusing. I'm not saying you. I'm saying society and this movement. I think you just focus too much on that stuff. It's what's inside. It's how you make people feel. It's your energy. It's what you're bringing to this world. Like, forget about that stuff.
Anybody can say anything, and they'll publish an article about it. She doesn't speak for anybody.
Hey, Roxanne, I know why your kids are little monsters.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
You've been around my kids enough to know that they know how to act. Do they act like hellions for me when it's just the three of us? Yes.
They tore up a Ford's garage, though. They tore that place. I don't know.
Many children were involved.
I think Ford's garage is built for that. Oh, you know what they do? It's funny.
I love. One sec. I love when there's a whole table of kids, and they essentially have to bring in a bobcat to clean up the floor.
I know.
Seriously, I mean,
not with my kids because I clean up after
but
them.
Look at a table. If you get a table with a bunch of kids, look at the floor.
The floor.
And you got to bring like snow shovels in to clean up the mess on the floor. Go ahead.
So we were there with 6 children.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just this week or last week. I think I texted you, emailed you about it. And they have all the old-fashioned cars outside, and they just scream, climb on me, climb on me. That's what the cars scream to the kids, right? Because the kids think everything is a playground. And somewhere...
they totally destroyed the Model A or Model T or whatever they have over there?
No, but of the 6 kids, my niece, my sister's daughter...
Don't they have a sign there? Please keep off the car.
But the sign,
and your kids are climbing all over the damn thing.
But the sign wasn't there.
Oh.
The sign wasn't there anymore. And the one, my niece is like, no, there's a sign. We're not allowed to climb on it. So we go around and look, and we're like, kids, the sign isn't there anymore. Climb at your own risk.
Are you kidding me?
So we let the kids.
My good friend is the CEO of Ford's Garage.
Guess what? He's got to get his sign back out.
Which one? West Chase?
It's the West Chase location. The sign was gone. So we didn't see that sign. So I said, go ahead, climb up there. Let's get a picture. And my one niece would not stand in the picture. She stood there with her arms crossed. And it's like, you're breaking the rule.
You know you're not supposed to climb on the old Ford at Ford's Garage. And you claimed the sign was gone?
The sign was gone.
You let your kids climb all over the car?
Climb all over it. You got to put the sign out. Put it back.
You're a horrific customer.
It's a cute photo.
And parents. Anyway, so I don't know if this is the case with your kids, Fester's kids. I don't think with our kids, I don't think the age and the technology matched up. But giving your kid a tablet at this particular age is linked to serious behavior issues down the road.
Well, like 3 or 4?
Yeah, preschoolers. So it would be in that vicinity. Yeah, that preschoolers who use a tablet to entertain themselves may not learn to manage their emotions, leading to like fits,
yes,
and tantrums, outbursts. Yeah, and guess what? And that prompts the parents to give them the tablet to quiet them down. So it's like a cycle.
Yeah, it totally is.
You're giving them the tablet, and that prevents them from learning proper social skills, and it just kind of feeds itself in like a runaway loop.
I'll tell you my tablet experience as a mom to young children, 7 and 4. I'll pat myself on the back for a couple of things and chastise myself for a couple of things. The things that we do well, we don't let them be on tablets in the car, ever. Look out the window, play the alphabet game, play I Spy, anything, read a book.
No tablets ever.
No
In the
tablets.
car.
Yeah, no tablets in the car. No tablets at restaurants unless it's like an extraordinarily long, boring adult restaurant.
Unless it's like
a 3-hour meal.
unless it's a tablet to make the kid drowsy.
Yeah, right.
Here, take some melatonin tablets.
Yeah, but we do. I'll hand it to him as a reward thing. And my 5-year-old loves this painting app, so she paints, she colors on it. Can I do painting? Can I do painting? So I'll hand it to her. But let me tell you, MJ, they are right on with this, because then when I tell her, all right, Daviana, your time is up, when I take it from her, she throws herself on the floor.
Yeah, it's a tantrum.
It's a tablet tantrum because they can't process like adults. Like, all right, I'm done with this, but their dopamine has started firing and they're in the groove.
What do you do when your kid throws a tantrum and throws themselves on the floor?
I say that's a good way never to get my phone again.
Tell me what you ought to do.
Yeah, that's
Tell
my
me what
mean
you ought
mom
to do.
voice.
Yeah, that's
So-
mean mom
It is
Roxanne.
mean.
So the painting program's on the tablet, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, here's what you do. Take the kids to a really fancy restaurant, and you know those jars of finger paints?
Yeah.
You just roll out the spectrum of finger paints at the table and just open the jar and let the kids go crazy in the restaurant with finger paints.
How about this? How about I ask the server, hey, do you mind bringing over, do you have some ketchup and mustard? Yeah, just not more for my food. And then let the kids finger paint with the ketchup
with
and mustard.
condiments. That's great.
Yeah, with condiments.
You know what? I still can smell finger paints.
Okay, now that you said
that
it.
was such a good smell. I remember like preschool, and I remember some of the preschools that I was at. And I remember we used to do the finger paints, also the tempura paints, but that was a little later. But I'm sorry, tempura, that's fried Japanese food. The tempura paints.
Yeah.
Not tempura. But I remember, just talking about the finger paints crack that I just made, I just had like the memory and the smell of finger paints just come back. And I just remembered that at 2-3 years old, finger paints just had such a pleasant smell.
And how about as you're describing it, I can almost feel them, like the gloopy gelatinous almost feel to them.
Yeah. Same thing. The gloopy gelatinous feel and that smell. You know what? I'm going to stop by Blick's.
Are you?
And I'm just going to buy some finger paints or whatever.
Don't buy them. Just smell them there.
Just
and
open the
leave 'em.
jars and just smell them and leave.
So if I got rid of my perfumes,
The smeller's here again.
And you would prefer if I ditched all my perfume and just put finger paint all over myself and came in.
Do your face up like war paint or something.
I prefer that too.
Yeah.
You think,
No, but seriously, before I got to take a break, running late here. The new study's authors note that the average amount of time the young children spend on mobile devices has increased from 5 minutes a day in 2020 to 55 minutes a day just 2 years later in 2022. So where the hell is it now in 2024? So giving your kids a tablet in the preschool years, it breeds behavioral issues. So heads up on that, Flappy. All right, 9:23 at the MJ Morning Show. Final chunk of the MJ Morning Show is next. Hey, I teased this story about the generic for Mucinex sold by big stores apparently has a cancer-causing chemical. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what's going on here. I got that. Oh, and then some Hollywood stuff. I brought up Tom Cruise's face. Would you believe there was a story I stumbled upon last night? A brand new story about people asking, what the hell has Tom Cruise done to his face? This has kind of been in motion for the last, year or so. Didn't we first notice there was something odd with Tom Cruise's face about a year ago?
Yeah, he didn't look right.
Yeah, it's just puffy and rounder. And all right, hold on. There's a whole thing on that. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff in the final segment of the MJ Morning Show next here on Q105. If you're... Final segment of the day here on the MJ Morning Show. What happened to my rejoin music?
I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't play. Yeah. All right, so hold on a second.
Play something.
Yeah, let me play something here. All right, how about? Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, that'll get my energy going. 9:32 at the MJ Morning Show. Final chunk of the program. I got a text from Julian, my son, up at college. And Julian must be listening online because he was commenting on the item we just did in the last segment about giving your kids tablets to play with in their preschool years can turn them into little monsters. And they, can become little terrors that from a behavioral standpoint, there's a correlation between kid behavior and if you give them tablets to play with at too young of an age. So Julian just sent me a text. Hey, Dad, when you and Mom got me an iPad, I was probably the last person out of all of my friends who had one. I think we ended up getting one because I was being left out during sleepovers when playing games. Thankfully, I never had one younger. So even Julian is recognizing that. See, we were late to the tech table with the kids.
Good.
Especially like with cell phones. I'm sorry. I don't think a kid needs a cell phone at 8 or 9 years old. And you got tons of kids that are having cell phones at just way too young of an age. And, you have all those new cell phone rules, with school just starting out.
Right.
You have all these new cell phone rules, depending on the age, different counties, different school systems, and different age groups. You've got a lot of schools where the kids, in elementary school, they can't have their phones. They can have them, they have to turn them in before class.
Out of sight, keep them in your
exactly.
bag.
It depends, again, on the county. As the kids get older, there are rules about you can't use your cell phone, but you're able to keep the cell phones. A lot of the high school kids can keep them. But a lot of the school districts are cracking down and instituting new cell phone policies. So make sure, you check your district because your mileage may vary.
You know what screen time does to kids? It gives them they won't have the chance in lieu of screen time to work on social skills, fine motor skills, gross motor skills. That's what they should be developing as toddlers, even memory stuff. That's being taken away from them if they just have a screen shoved in their face.
I just gave something to Kenzie, our shadower, who just wrapped up an internship at Fox 13.
Ooh.
And there's a story we did earlier, and there was a local write-up from a local TV station about this particular item, and there's just something glaringly wrong with the story. And I'm like, huh? So I handed this item to Kenzie, and again, Kenzie's a 21-year-old rising senior at Washington and Lee up in Rockbridge County, Virginia. Fine school, a beautiful country up there. Michelle's mom lives up in Rockbridge County. It's beautiful up there.
Oh, is it like those commercials that read a story and then have like one fact missing?
Oh, no. Well, there is something missing. So I handed this story, and give me the story for 1 second. So the story was about the 4 flight attendants. And remember, we had a listener call in that was on the plane.
Right.
There was a flight that left Tampa going to Charlotte, and they hit unexpected turbulence. They hit some clear air turbulence, and it tossed 4 flight attendants around, and they had to be hospitalized. One was taken off with like bandages and gauze, around their head.
That's awful.
And a listener that was on the airplane actually called in this morning. But I just want to test out Kenzie real quick. Kenzie, this is a Channel 8 write-up. So this is WFLA Channel 8. 4 flight attendants hospitalized after flight leaves Tampa, American Airlines. All right? Kenzie, now you were a Fox 13 intern. This is Channel 8. What's wrong with this story?
I wish I knew. I was just too caught up on the opening sentence, and I was starting to rewrite it in my head, but I'm not sure I picked up on what you were trying to inquire.
You're not picking up on what he's trying to put
I
down.
know. I don't want to give Fox 13 a bad look because they trained me really well.
Oh, hold on now. You got to go through the who, what, when, why, where, right?
Read it again.
American Airlines said 4 of its flight attendants were taken to the hospital for evaluation after a flight from Tampa to Charlotte landed. Officials said the Airbus A321 experienced unexpected turbulence. Of the 154 passengers and 6 crew members on board, only the 4 attendants reported possible injuries. The flight left Tampa around 5:39 p.m. and arrived in Charlotte around 7:05 p.m., according to FlightAware. The company sent Queen City News the following statement. American Airlines 2905 with service from Tampa to Charlotte landed safely at Charlotte after encountering unexpected turbulence. We thank our crew members for their professionalism and our customers for their understanding. What's wrong with the story? There is something glaringly wrong with this story. Now, this is on the Channel 8 website, but it looks like the Dateline. It's Charlotte and Queen City News. So I don't know if that must be part of Nexstar, which Nexstar owns Channel 8 and a jillion other stations around the country.
Oh, wait. So this is on America, or this is on FLA or Fox?
No, this is on WFLA's website,
Okay.
Channel 8. What's wrong with the story? I just read the story. What's wrong with the story?
Well, you don't know what happened.
What?
You don't know, like, what was the issue? Apart from the turbulence. Like,
No, that's not what I'm looking for. All right?
The date? Wait.
Yes! Yeah. It doesn't mention when it happened. The flight left Tampa at 5:39 p.m. What day? It was Thursday.
Yeah.
What?
Kenzie, I had to pull the story up and read it with my eyeballs to figure that out.
It's
That's what
missing from the story. But this was written, obviously, up in Charlotte, and it must be part of Nexstar, the parent company at Channel 8, so they just put it on their website locally.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a lot of this on Channel 8's website, where things in the story that are just the who, what, when, where, why, just the basics are left out of the stories.
MJ, when you're rattling off, when you're reading it, it's harder to see what's missing. But when I pull up the story and read it, it's glaring. Yes. And look at it. So they just left that out.
Well, now I'll have to know and go back to school and make sure I always put the date on every single one of my
Well,
assignments.
that's the thing. That's the who, what,
When,
when.
where, and why. It's just the basic facts to cover the story. And then I mentioned this first thing in the morning, and this is awful. The Tampa Bay Times is offering a bunch of their employees early buyouts because the Tampa Bay Times is saying that the digital model is not working. Oh, wait. Digital dreams are not working?
Wait, what?
Yeah. So their digital model, listen, the Tampa Bay Times publishes a real newspaper only 2 days a week. We're a market of 3 million people. This is the 12th largest TV media market in the country, and we have a newspaper that only publishes on Wednesdays and Sundays. And now you're going to see, I think, journalistic quality decrease even further, or the amount. You need good journalists. You need great TV. You need good media. And unbelievably, we're becoming this stupid TikTok generation. You got idiots that are getting all of their news from social media, which half of it or 3/4 of it is absolutely bogus crap. It's conspiracy-laden garbage. It's just a sad state of affairs. Just journalism in general, just the quality. You go back to 1995 when you had the Tampa Tribune, you had the St. Pete Times, and you had quality.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just covering stuff.
The Valrico Express.
You need
the Largo Reporter.
You need eyeballs. You need accountability. You need good watchdogs in journalism. And you go back, and everything was better years ago.
Reporting-wise.
Radio, TV, and print, everything was better. And it's just gotten to the point where everything is trying to be done cheaper and, cutbacks. And, somebody who really had their day full with one job now has to do 9 different jobs in order to get a paycheck that's 30% less than somebody made 20 years ago. It's just a crazy state of affairs out there.
People are expected to, churn and burn, just churn out those web stories. And in the days prior, you would have someone investigate the story, talk to multiple sources, tell us, there was more time put into crafting and researching a story.
It's really sad what's happened. Local media, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic what has happened here. And it's not just here. It's all over the country. It's a real sad state of affairs. All right, so I mentioned the generic version of Mucinex has a problem. I don't think you want to take a decongestant and then potentially get cancer.
What is the Mucinex generic? Is it like all kinds of store brands?
Yeah. So there's a generic version of Mucinex sold by CVS, Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and story came out that it contains a cancer-causing chemical. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, so let me get rid of my mucus and my congestion. Maybe a little side case of cancer. It's probably one of these situations where, you got to take a whole lot of it. But still, I don't think you want to hear that your over-the-counter drug has a cancer-causing agent. And so this generic version of this cold and allergy medicine, Mucinex, that's the one with that disgusting blob of phlegm that walks around, right?
Yes.
All right.
Phil Phlegm.
Yeah, Phil Phlegm. So it's sold in all the major stores. Benzene. I've known that for a long time, that benzene is not good. Benzene is a colorless, flammable liquid that's been used to make plastics, synthetic fibers, household cleaners, gasoline, and rubber. Has been linked to leukemia, lymphoma. Yeah, the brand name version of Mucinex, which is sold by the British pharmaceutical giant Reckitt Benckiser Group, uses a white powder called carbomer, which creates the extended release that helps ease symptoms over a 12-hour period.
Okay.
As an inactive ingredient that does not contain benzene. So the brand name does not have the benzene, a known carcinogenic, but an analysis by Bloomberg News found that the carbomer used to make the generic versions sold in the large retail establishments like Walmart and Target and Walgreens and CVS, that, that's got the benzene.
The bends.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? Isn't that just
Yikes.
fantastic? Hey, speaking of medication, it has now been determined. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. What place in the United States has now been determined to be the Ozempic capital of the country?
Oh, man.
What is the Ozempic capital of the United States of America? All right, Fester, hurry up.
I mean, instantly I think of...
Before they start singing, what is your guess? Hurry up! Hurry up!
Like Los Angeles.
No!
Ozempic.
Nope. Nope.
Would it be like Miami? Like a really vain place?
See, that's what you'd think.
It was something like Lincoln, Nebraska with a bunch of corn-fed people?
Yeah, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, potatoes.
Nope.
Or no, Idaho is
And
potatoes.
I'm saying the Ozempic capital of the country, but it also includes the other big weight loss drugs like Wegovy and Mounjaro as well.
Is it like Madison, Wisconsin? I met a girl from Madison. She could have played linebacker for the Badgers. I mean, she was a big
Well, they have a
girl.
lot of delicious cheese there, so.
And
high in
those
calories.
cheese curds up there.
Yeah.
And frozen
I
custard.
don't know that she was all cheese curd, but yes.
Let's go to the Dells, yeah.
All right.
We don't know.
All right.
I mean, I'm betting Midwest.
Ken, do you have a guess?
I have to say East Coast.
No one's really got it. Nope.
But the Eskimos, those fat Eskimos up in northern Alaska.
I'm going to say like the Virginia, West Virginia area. is
Now,
my
you
guess.
get a little warmer, though. It's Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, no, I
Yep.
wouldn't have seen that coming.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, which, by the way, that's where the Chevrolet Corvette factory is in Bowling Green,
Where people are shaped like bowling balls.
has reportedly emerged as the major center for weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro.
Wow.
Yeah, the share of people prescribed the GLP-1 agonist drug prescriptions in and around Bowling Green, Kentucky in the past 12 months amounted to 4% at minimum. So that number is the largest concentration, meaning the most population in the country at 4% at least on these weight loss drugs, this trifecta. It's the greatest concentration in the entire country when you look at population statistics.
Okay.
So now if on Jeopardy, the question is related to the Ozempic capital of the United States, could be Final Jeopardy question. Boom. Now you know it. Bowling Green, Kentucky.
How would that question go? This southern city full of lard asses is the Ozempic capital of the United States.
There you go. There you go, Ken Jennings. You just wrote your...
oh, my God. I'm going to submit that to Ken.
You just wrote the Final Jeopardy question for tonight. Yeah. It's not New York. It's not L.A. It's Bowling Green, Kentucky is the Ozempic capital of the United States of America.
You know, you wouldn't think Kentucky. There's a lot of fat people there.
Hey, a couple of local items here. And, you know, I was on the fence about this. I didn't want to, like, do the story. Well, there were two ways to look at it. Do I do the story in the middle of, like, driving the kids to school and going to Carline? Do I do the story and, like, Debbie Downer the whole deal? Or is it important enough as a public service to just remind people, be aware? I'm talking about the awful story down in Sarasota.
Oh.
Yeah, first day of school yesterday. And
Booker Middle School?
And mom runs over her 12-year-old daughter in her huge behemoth Lincoln Navigator. I mean, what a sad story. I mean, I hope you haven't heard much about the young girl. All we heard yesterday was critical condition. You know, please let her recover. 12-year-old girl was life flighted to All Children's yesterday morning. First day of school, FHP said that mother was in the car line dropping her daughter off at Booker Middle School, and the daughter dropped her bag, and I guess a whole bunch of her school supplies fell out, like pens and markers or whatever. And the daughter bends down and ends up being somewhat under the car picking. Mom had no idea. Mom didn't see it and then started the car and ran over her daughter in Carline.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my God, it's a heartbreaking story. You know, I wanted to talk about it. I was like, should we do this at 7:30 when all these kids are getting dropped off. I guess the argument is, well, that at least will make it top of the mind. Just be careful. Know that your kids have moved on. Visualize. Make sure they're not near the car or any other kid is near the car before you pull out. Just a real tragic, awful set of circumstances here. And I wish this 12-year-old girl, the mother's got to be beside herself. I just hope this 12-year-old girl recovers.
Years ago, one of my best friends, this is in North Carolina, but her daughter was hit. I mean, she's okay. She's okay now, but she got a concussion. She was hit by a car as a pedestrian when she was in her school parking lot by another kid, a teenage driver. So it's just like a lesson to anybody in school parking lots.
Yeah, just be careful.
And then we have this kid in Pinellas County, 14-year-old kid arrested, threatened a mass shooting at Richard O. Jacobson Technical High School. First day of school, the kid is threatening a mass shooting. Why? He told cops that he was nervous about the new school. Well, that's certainly a way to remedy the situation, is you threaten a mass shooting. What a bonehead.
One thing's for sure, he no longer has to worry about the first day of school.
Yeah, 14-year-old. What a joker. And I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the Ocean's 11 caper out in Polk County?
No.
Yeah, they tunneled into a thrift store. I'm like, what?
They broke into a Goodwill with a of all the stores to break into.
Exactly.
The store with somebody else's used crap?
Two suspects accused of tunneling through a wall and then stealing items from this thrift store in Polk County. This is earlier this month. Yeah, August 5th.
What does a thrift store have that's so good it's worth busting through a door for?
Bric-a-brac.
That's the whole section. That's actually my favorite section of the Salvation Army. I love the Salvation Army.
This happened at Supreme Bargain Store on Wrecker Highway in Winter Haven, 5:55 in the morning. Surveillance video showed a couple of thugs going into the store through a wall from a neighboring business. It's Ocean's 11 Winter Haven. Yeah, they filled their bags with designer purses, jewelry.
Oh my!
They took the whole damn cash register as well.
I'm on the Facebook page of this Bargain Supreme or whatever it's called, Supreme Bargain.
Yeah.
I've never seen a thrift store more jam-packed with crap. I mean, look at all this stuff.
Oh, it's a pretty jammed up place.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Anything else before we get out of here today?
Oh, let's get these wicker chairs.
Hey, I mentioned Tom Cruise. We ought to go into this in more depth on tomorrow's show, but people are asking, after seeing Tom Cruise at the closing ceremonies with, listen, it was a great stunt and, kind of a cool closer to the Olympics. But again, people are asking, what is going on with Tom Cruise's face? Why is it all puffy? We've been noticing this for a year, that, his kind of sharp jawline and his thinner face, it's gone away, and he's all puffed up. Like one of those Japanese fugu fish,
Trying to fluff out the wrinkles.
So we ought to dive into this in more detail probably tomorrow. We got to roll. Got to call it a day here. It's been a very exciting, busy Tuesday here on the MJ Morning Show. Have a great one. We'll see you back here tomorrow. MJ Morning Show on Q105, and let's be careful out there.